I'll call this. Seriously? I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. I will fuck you up.
𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗧. 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗧. Trooper 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗧. 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 Trooper 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗧. 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗧.
My name is Aidan Kearney, also known as Turtleboy.
He is a senior editor for Turtleboy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtleboy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You did not say that you were gonna take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I
know
have
you do.
People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never gonna stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Noise. Go, baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chop up the singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom! What's up, turtle people? How's everyone doing out there tonight? Good? Good? Excellent. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Last night, I'm going to have this set up, I promise. Get my new lighting set in here. It's supposed to be here on Amazon. Took a bit. It'll be all set next show, I promise. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. But anyway, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Aidan Kearney. I'm the host of this here program. You can call me Clarence Woods Emerson. That's what they call me on Facebook. Follow that page, if you will. I do a morning bus stop live every day there since I was jacked up by the popo last October 11th. Do I have the right settings on? Hold on. I'm going to try to keep, I understand the mouth breathing was not good last time. Let me know if it's a problem again. Just let me know. Hopefully it's okay. I'm keeping it a little further from my face. Hopefully it's all right. But yeah. Anyway, Old school turtle riders call me 𝗫𝗄𝗃𝗍𝗵 or Unc for short. You know, I prefer doctor, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, because I've earned the title, quite frankly. And if Jill Biden gets to be a doctor, then so do I. So there's that. Also acceptable, remains acceptable, is daddy. I will allow it. You don't have to call me daddy. I understand that could be a little weird for some of you, but I will allow it. I will allow it. So yeah. All right, cool. Anyway, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if you guys like the program and you want to have your messages read out loud to the class, you can click at the link at the top. We don't do turtle chat. I lost it a couple years ago because of the vaccine mandate. I was against it. I shared. I'm used to like new people on Turtleboy too. Like I used to fucking talk about the vaccine a lot. If you're new here, you missed a whole bunch of shit. And people are like, what? You're an anti-vaxxer? I can't follow you anymore. I'm unfollowing you. It's like, first of all, not anti-vax. Just didn't feel like doing it. Just didn't feel like doing it. And the more, it was like the episode of Seinfeld with the ribbon. It's like the more they made him want to wear the AIDS ribbon, he's just, nope, not wearing the ribbon. That's it. Not wearing it. You hate the green screens, huh? Maybe I'll stick with this. It is a cool background. Somebody made this last year for the Halloween party. Too bad it's all like, you know, whatever. It's all wrinkled up, but it is what it is. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, if you want to donate, you can't do super chat. So we built our own platform called Turtle Chat. You can click at the link at the top. You can donate whatever amount of money you want. When you do that, you get to write a message. I will get the message. I will read the message out loud to the class, like so. We got a couple here already. We got $10 from Courtney. Says, "Hey Charlene, aka Tweety Girl." Oh my God, that's that horrid woman, right? Who harassed in Indianapolis, who harassed that lovely family with the child who were protesting on behalf of Karen Reed on Labor Day. Remember that? Oh, that horrid. I saw she's in the hospital and I'm like, oh, good. Hope she doesn't make it, to be perfectly honest with you. Just the world to be, it's like some people the world is better without. Brian Ritchie is one of them. She's one of them. You know, it's just a fact. It's like the world is clearly a better place without her, but unfortunately she's probably going to live. So it is what it is. But I'm going to go read the rest of this tweet, read the rest of this message. And it says, "Instead of donating to your 53 birthday fund or your free healthcare supplemental GoFundMe, I'm giving my money to Turtleboy instead. And stop harassing a random girl who happens to have the same first name as me. I know how much you like to berate young people." Yeah, she does. She's a nasty one, huh? She's a nasty ginger. Yikes. Next up, we got Nicole sends $10 and says, "Sorry if this was already mentioned, but I watched the Canton Select Board meeting. And there was a caller named Allison Brady who sounded exactly like Krusty Panties. She was pro McAlbert's and didn't take a breath once. So it was a dead giveaway. Free Turtleboy and Karen Reed cheering you on from Minnesota." Yeah. So that's the name of my children. Actually, that's my daughter and my son. And the thing about that is that, you know, the good part about being me is I get to see them every day and raise them. And I have custody of them, which not everyone has, including her. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. You know, she likes to play with fire, doesn't she? And I think she was nervous about the show tonight. And first of all, it's just unoriginal. It's unoriginal. Like, I don't know if this is like, I guess she thinks I'm Wade Hunter, but it's not the same thing because Wade and Hunter aren't her kids. They were taken from her by the state. So like those Allison Brady, those are my kids. So it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing because those kids call someone else mom. And that's just shameful. There's no greater shame than that, of just being such a degenerate that the state of Massachusetts took your kids from you forever, not for like, we're going to take it for a bit, get your shit together, have forever. forever. And it's not even like original. Like they can't even come up with something original. Like, come on, bro. Give me a break. Anyway, so yeah, and those two were the lucky ones. You know what I mean? They were lucky. They got the fuck out. Also, if anyone wants the Cash App, my Cash App is $UncleTurtleboy. You can do it that way. April sends $10 and goes, I need a good laugh tonight. Can't we call Giannetti on the live tonight, like the good old days? I love your show. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Hashtag free Turtleboy. Bro, I miss Giannetti. Giannetti was the funniest person I've ever had on the show. Like the funniest ratchet I ever wrote about. And then he just randomly showed up in my indictment, didn't he? On December 22nd. And now that we have the phone extraction, we know how he ended up there because he did not end up there on accident. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, I miss Giannetti. I miss him. If you guys are new here, just go watch the old Giannetti ones. He's the one in the beginning clip where he's like, Your Honor, he said he's going to take my son and make him a transgender baby. That's actual court audio. He tried to get an order on me, and he said that I was going to take his son and make him a transgender baby. Because I said I was going to adopt his kid is struggling. I mean, Giannetti's a crackhead. He shouldn't be around kids. So I said that I was going to adopt the child, and being so progressive as I am, I said I was going to let the child choose his own gender. Or no, not he. I'm going to let they choose their own gender. And I thought I was and so it wasn't out of revenge. It was out of sympathy and progressivism. Like, I mean, it's like, I'm woke turtle. You know, I don't want to assume the kid's gender. So I was going to let the kid tell me what gender they are. Like, okay, you have a dick, but do you think it should be there? That's the real question. Do you agree with it? Like, that's the real question. If you agree with the dick, then you're a guy. If you disagree with the dick, then you're a girl, aren't you? Right? So there you go. A transgender girl. So I'm learning as I go along. Okay. Allison sends $10 and says, Turtleboy, hello, UK person here. I donated to Karen Reed's legal defense fund. And now this for yours. Thank you for standing up against corruption. It must be stamped out. Yes, it must, Allison. Yes, it must. And that's exactly what we're doing here. As much as Sue O'Connell thinks we're just throwing rubber duckies around and having a good time, we're actually trying to get justice here. And I do think that the fact that we don't shut up, the fact that we don't go away, makes it much harder for them to ignore us, don't you? Makes it much harder for them to ignore us. But okay. Let's see. Liana sends $10 and goes, thank you for everything you do. You are the best. Well, thank you, Liana. I appreciate that very, very much. Let me see if I have any Cash Apps. My Cash App is $UncleTurtleboy. Okay. I don't see any yet. But if anyone wants to do it, they can do it that way. Okay. Link is at the top. We'll be refreshing those periodically throughout the night. But let's just get this started, man. Okay. So we're here for Bederow letters. Round 2 is up. Ian Runkle, the attorney with the long hair there. I found him during the Kara Reed stuff. He's a smart guy, funny dude, sharp. He's got like 250,000 subs, and he read the Bederow letters on his stream yesterday. It was good. He totally gets it. And it was great because I loved seeing his reaction to it because he was as shocked as everyone else. It's like, okay, that, and your reaction to the first round of the Bederow letters made me feel better because I'm like, okay, so this is fucked up, right? Like, so this is really fucked up. Like, we all agreed on that because I'm in it, you know, so I'm a little biased. It seems fucked up to me. And then so and it's like, wait a minute. So this was all a setup, right? Like this whole thing, like this is fucked up, right? Like this is crazy. Like the same police that did Sandra Birchmore and did Karen Reed, like they're the ones handling this shit. And then they're teaming up with these scumbags. And now we have all their messages. Like what? I bet you they didn't see that one coming when they started fucking around. But yeah, I didn't get the chance to talk really about the first one. I let Melanie and the Glarer and Broken Baker and Young Jerks. They all read them on their program, and a lot of people talked on them that way because at the time there was we were unclear about the protective order nature of this all. Like, what were we allowed to talk about the contents of the phone? Like, we didn't want to get accused because, they'll complain, she'll be, my children. We don't want to do that. We don't want to give them that anything to work with. So I just didn't talk about it. Now the protective order has been changed. So basically it is very clear that we can talk about anything in the phone that's pertinent to the investigation and pertinent to my defense. All right. And so we're not going to relive the first letter. We've already read all those. What's the nuts and bolts of that one? I guess it really is no nuts and bolts. It's a whole lot of shit. I guess I was set up. And I think one of the big takeaways with that one was that they served her with a grand jury summons on December 22nd. And a grand jury was dated December 27th. And she used that to get me over. I wasn't going over. I had no plans to go. Like, that was used to get me there. And when she finally testified in February, it was all about the incident on December 23rd into December 24th. So why? But that hadn't happened yet on December 22nd. So if I hadn't gone over that night, what would they have asked her at the grand jury? It just proves the entire thing was bait. The entire thing was a lure to get me there. And just reading those back and forth conversations where they're like, and Leah Genduso's involved. Like, what the fuck? Leah Genduso? I thought she was gone for good. Disgraced state trooper. Yikes. Who, so yeah, you're reading all that and you're like, okay, well, it's eerie because, I went away for 60 days for this shit. And you're like, holy shit, these crazy bitches who are obsessed with me just were plotting the whole time. And that's whatever. Like, crazy bitches are going to crazy bitch. But it's the fact that Ken Mello, like the special prosecutor, became like a mean girl with them. Like, he was like their buddy. Like, there's supposed to be a line there. Like, he can't, and he involved himself so much, taking their personal phone calls all hours of the night, answering them, that he's made himself a witness in the case. He literally witnessed whatever the fuck they're alleging happened that night. He was on the phone. It's in the phone log. She called him. He answered. It says in the police report, he was listening in. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's a crazy. And that was Runkle's reaction to it today. It was just like, it was crazy. Like, this is freaking crazy. He's like, I'm never coming to Massachusetts. Like, this is wild. He had a funny joke because he talked about how we want Mello's phone. And he's like, he goes, I'm not trying to give Mark Bederow advice, but I would, if I were him, I would go down to a military base and wait for Mello to throw his phone out. It's like, I see what he did there. Well, Runkle read the whole thing. It was like an hour-long thing. It was great. It was awesome. Yeah, go listen to it. He's a law tuber. Yeah. All right, cool. So tonight we're going to read the Krusty Panties. So this is another letter. And to me, this one's even more damning. So let's just jump right into it. I think we know who this Krusty Panties person is right now. If you don't, I don't even know where to start. I wish I didn't. I wish she wasn't part of this. She used to work for me, and I caught her stealing. She worked for me for like a year and a half, wrote articles and did like a YouTube show on my channel. And I found out later, looking at her analytics, all her followers were fake. Like, she was buying bots and stuff. So she get more, listener and was creating fake accounts and commenting and saying, you should go and, start your own thing, Kate. You're so much better than him. You don't need him. and I would message her about it, and she'd be like, I don't know. I'll block that person. I'll block that person. Right. It was her the whole time. She created an account called Aidan Blarney that like sabotaged an event that we were going to have and talked about the raffle. She's obsessed with raffles and saying like, you can't have raffles. Raffles are illegal. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyway, I caught her stealing. Like basically she had an advertiser and was pocketing. Like, we had a rev share split thing, and she was pocketing all the money. And so I fired her, and I found out about her past. As soon as I fired her, she started like making completely untrue things up, like lying, just straight up lying about me. And I'm like, what? I never did those things, Kate. What are you talking about? I thought we were friends, and she just made up all these crazy lies about me. And so I'm like, what? And so I started looking into her past, and oh boy, I should have done a background check. She had 4 kids, all right, and lost 2 of them permanently to the state. I didn't know that. And due to years of neglect. And basically the state gave her, she pretends like she did this noble thing where she just couldn't do it. And she just gave them, put them up for adoption. But in reality, the state said that the 2 younger ones were, they're gone. Like you don't get to keep them, because the state gave her like multiple chances, and they said, you got to stop drinking and you got to get rid of this boyfriend, Andrew Johnson, because he's a fucking junkie and you can't have him around. He's dangerous around the kids. Well, and you got to clean your house once in a while. She couldn't do any of those things. And eventually DCF said, look here's what you're going to do. You're going to sign over the 2 youngest kids' adoption rights, or you're going to lose all 4. Like, so basically she's like, she made a deal. She's like, okay, let me keep 2. So she got, I don't know how she picked which 2, but she kept the 2 that got away were the lucky ones, obviously, because they get to call someone else mom and dad. And ever since I wrote those stories exposing her past and who she really was, she is obsessed with me. And I don't want, like, if you go to her channel, Mafia Masshole or whatever, it's completely dedicated to me. Like, look how many times I'm on the covers of videos there. Like, it's all about me. Me, Turtleboy. Okay. You go to my channel, you ain't going to see much. Hold on. I guess that's the wrong version. Let me get out of this one. You go to my channel, she's not a topic, like, oh, oops. Okay, thanks. You go to my channel, it's like, I'll talk shit about her sometimes, but like, she ain't the star of the show, And so then in like I think it was last March of 2023, her kid messages the page. Her kid is like 16 at this point, constantly on like runaway teenager posters. Like, the girl's all fucked up. I feel so bad for her, but she messages the page and says these horrible things about my kids, like saying that your 7-year-old's going to be sucking dick in the hallway and she's going to be a gum job. Like, these words I'd never even heard before. Just horrible shit. And one of the admin who was running the page was like responding to her and like, you don't have to lash out like this. I wasn't even responding to her. It was like the admin running the page. And the whole time Kate knew the girl was talking to the admin, and she pretended like she was talking to me. She goes down to the court and gets an order on me, a temporary one, and said that I was threatening to kidnap her kid. This is what she said. Of course, I wasn't there. It's an ex parte hearing. And like, anybody wants to kidnap her bratty 16-year-old truant child. Like, nobody wants that kid. All right. And so she said that I was trying to kidnap the kid and saying like sexual things about the kid or something like that. Completely made up. Like, about her own kid. She's saying this shit. So I go and, we go to have the 2-party hearing, right? And they bring the kid in. Now, why is she using the kid? Well, because she's tried to get orders on me a couple times and failed because, free speech and all. And so she brings the kid down and she's like, well, maybe she thinks that if the kid has an order on me, then I can't talk about what a shitty parent she is because you're mentioning the kid, right? But that's not how it works. So the kid gets a temporary order on me. During that 2-week tenure, I get a call. Okay. And the kid taped the call. All right. And I know this because Lounge Lizard is the one that showed me this. So Lounge Lizard has switched sides. Lounge Lizard used to be on Krusty Panties side. And Lounge Lizard sent me a video that Krusty sent her that the kid wiretapped the phone call. And Krusty goes, don't share this. Don't share this. And she sends the video. And so the Krusty spoofed my phone number to her daughter and made it look like I was calling her, so I'd be violating the order. The daughter calls me back and I go, hello. She goes, who's this? I go, who's this? She goes, you called me. Who's this? I'm like, who? And she goes, it's Teresa, motherfucker. And I'm like, oh, fucking Christ. Krusty. And like I called the North Attleboro police. They've already called the police. That's how she does. Like, she has been trying to get me in jail for years, is obsessed with me. Constant. Like, I'm going to FOIA all her emails to the Holden Police Department. God knows how many times she's tried to get them to press charges on me. State police, you name it. Obsessed. And finally, she found cops corrupt enough and who aren't ashamed to be associated with her, right? That is the Norfolk County Goon Squad. All right. Okay. Let's see. Do I have it? Got it. All right. I got it. All right. So the Karen Reed story happens and I'm like, okay, cool, good. She's not part of this. We never have to hear from her again. But she sees the success I'm having with this and she sees that like I'm killing it and getting tons of views and just leaving her in the dust and whatever. She considers this a feud. I don't. It's like she's not on my level at all. Like, and obviously not. Like, nobody knows who the fuck she is. Like, everybody knows Turtleboy is. Nobody knows who the fuck Krusty Panties is, except for the villain in Turtleboy world. Like, that's the only thing she's known as. So anyway, she ends up, she ends up taking an interest in the story. She starts by sending me an email telling from like a fake account saying that Colin Albert sells drugs in D&E Pizza. And I'm like, I read the email on air and I'm like, I don't know about this email. I have no idea if this is true or not. Could be. I don't fucking know. Wouldn't surprise me if D&E Pizza is a front for drugs. I have no freaking clue. And I read the email out loud. And then she does the stream where she's like, you're so stupid. Oh my God, you read it out loud. I don't believe anything. It's like, I didn't report it as true, dipshit, but okay. And also, now that rumor's out there, she started the fucking rumor. So the McAlberts can thank Krusty Panties for that one. Good job. Well, anyway, she only took the position that the McAlberts are innocent and Karen Reed's guilty because I did the opposite. And prior to her, really, nobody with any sort of platform, not that she has a big platform or anything, was saying that the McAlberts are innocent. Like, no, they're like, it's undeniable the McAlberts killed John O'Keefe. Like, undeniable. Like, nobody with the brain actually believes Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe. I mean, there's some people who believe it, but they're not smart. Like, they're very stupid people. You see them on Twitter, you know what the faces look like. It's the same 20 people. They're just really, really like painfully stupid. Like, I lose brain cells on Twitter reading their responses every day. Right. Anyway. So, I ended up getting an order on her because she's just out of control. She came to my house during the rolling rally, left a note, posted pictures on my property. Like, she has threatened me on her videos multiple times with violence if I attend court hearings, like actual witness intimidation. And she was charged accordingly and at a Leominster District Court, and is out on bail right now for felony witness intimidation. She got a bunch of other charges in all sorts of courts. Just a psychopath. Just an all-around psychopath. But now that we had the fake victim's phone, we found out a lot that she's much. We knew she was involved, but she's really involved. So we're going to jump right into the Bederow letters, part 2, Krusty Panties chapter, shall we? Let's do this. Okay. All right. On October 1st, Mr. Cosgrove provided the defense with a recording of Catherine Peters' February 26th call to the Dedham police about an alleged incident that occurred outside the Norfolk County Superior Court, where a large crowd had gathered for a hearing in the Karen Reed case. Let me see if I can pull. Give me a minute to pull this up. I want to make sure that we've heard this 911 call. Hold on. Calls to PD. Hold on. There's a couple 911 calls. Hold on. I'm going to see if this one is. Let me unplug this. Muted? Was I muted the whole time too? I apologize. Let me rewind that.
How you doing? Listen, we just left court, and somebody that was in court was her car was malicious. It was purposely damaged. We're in the back of the registry of deeds. Would you mind sending somebody over here?
Not a problem.
That's the wrong 911
what kind of vehicle are we looking for?
It's a Honda Odyssey. We're in the way back. We're standing out in front of it.
That's the wrong one.
What color?
That's the one where I was blamed for the facing of the car or whatever. Hold on. Wrong one. Oops. I clicked on the call. What's this one? Hold on. Let me click out it. Close this window. Sorry. Download. Hold on. No. What about this one? No. This one? No. Wait. What about this one?
Dedham Police Dispatcher, recorded line.
How you doing? Listen, we just left court, and somebody that
What
was.
about this one?
Yeah, I just want to let you know, I'm
Oh, can you
looking
hear
at the internet right now. I'm watching. There's an individual by named Aidan Kearney. He was just removed from the courtroom. He's in violation of a restraining order. He's refusing to leave the courthouse steps. He's within 100 yards of this victim, and he's currently screeching about how she's there. So he's definitely in violation of his restraining order. You might want to get someone down there.
Okay, so Aidan Kearney is at the courthouse. He's in violation of a restraining
order. Yeah.
Do you know who the RO is against?
The victim is Lindsay 𝗿𝗏. She's there with the John O'Keefe's mother right now, Mrs. O'Keefe. So he's instead of leaving the courthouse on the steps screaming about it, I know it's a football field. He needs to stay away.
Okay, he's out on the steps currently.
Yep.
Can you describe what he looks like?
He is he's a short guy, about 5'8", glasses. He's wearing a suit jacket. He's got a cell phone in front of his face. His nose kind of looks like a penis.
Okay. What color shirt or jacket is he wearing?
Right now it is, I would say that's a gray.
White male?
Yeah.
Male?
White.
Okay.
Yeah, gray jacket, blue shirt.
Okay. And are you...
green tie.
Are you just a witness, or...
I just happened to be watching it online, and he's screaming about how he got removed from the courthouse due to a restraining order, but he's definitely still in violation of the restraining order as he sits on the steps. So,
okay. All right. Can I grab your name for the record?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Kate Peter, Peter.
Okay. And your date of birth?
12/29/1987.
Okay. All right. I'll just...
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So, let's go back to the letter now. All right. So, get rid of that thing. Yeah, 1987. I know. That's when you first hear that, you're like, holy shit. Anyway, so she calls. She's not there, right? Yet she calls, right? And keep in mind, she's reporting me for violating an order, but I'm not violating the order. I would, first of all, I was there first, which according to Sergeant 𝗵𝗶𝗆 from the Dedham Police Department means that you get to stay there. That's the policy of the Dedham Police Department. But I got up and left anyway because I don't want, when she arrived there, which I didn't see coming. She's never been to a hearing before in her life. Going to the can hearings is just kind of what I do. I've been out of the can for 3 days. And she showed up, and I'm like, I just got up. She walked in with the McAlberts, and they were obviously using her as a prop. I just got up, and I left. And within, I go live outside, and because I want to broadcast myself so there's no shenanigans. And I tell the cop, I asked the cop, where should I go? And the Silver Fox points me across the street to the Registry of Deeds, and he says, stand over there for now. Okay? It lasts about 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, the hearing's over, and everyone starts pouring out. And I don't see, everybody looks like an ant from where I am. I'm up on the Registry of Deeds. I even go behind like a tree just to get away, as far away from everyone as possible. Like I literally go as far away as I can get. I don't know where she is. I don't know. And I just want to wait for this whole crowd to go away so I can just scoot over there and just go about my business. Okay. That's it. Not trying to hurt anyone, not trying to violate any orders, just trying to go about my day. And Krusty Panties calls and reports that I'm outside the court and with violating the order. How does she know I'm violating the order? She's not there. And how does she know that the fake victim's up in the courtroom? How does she know that? Unless she was in on some sort of planning here, right? Like how did she know this? And by the way, like I'm not even sure if we'll see the orders go. Like it's 100 yards if you count the staircase. The spot, go up and down the staircase to the second floor. Like that's 100 yards. I left. She entered where I was sitting, and I left. I went 100 yards away where the cop told me to go, and then apparently she re-entered my space. So twice entered my space. Didn't even see the second time. But I digress. We're talking about this shit right now. So this is shady, just that she knew that this was going to happen. Like she was prepared to call. And it was almost like it was planned. An alleged incident that occurred, blah, blah, blah. Miss Peter told the police Aidan Kearney was violating a restraining order by being within 100 yards of the fake victim as he stood outside the courthouse. Well, the fake victim was inside. Considering this recording and irrefutable evidence that Miss Peter, who was or is a, quote, source for the state police investigation into Mr. Kearney, we anticipate that she will be a witness at Mr. Kearney's upcoming trials. And let me tell you, she would be a fantastic witness for us. Like because she talks, and when she talks, she thinks she's helping her cause, but she's not. If you listen to any of our old court audio, maybe I'll share some later on, you will see how horrible she is in a courtroom. and she thinks that she can just talk and talk and talk her way out of it. She doesn't breathe, and it never, like, she never wins. She loses every single time. Like, Lauren Murray has gotten orders on her 3 years in a row, and she's been insisted, I'll never get an order placed on me. I'll never get charged with a crime. Oh, she got everything. Like, she lose. All she does is lose. If you want bad legal advice, talk to Krusty Panties. Like, she will give you the worst legal advice possible on anything. Like, with me, it's like I have an order on her. I also have a stay away order because she's out on bail for witness intimidation. And what she like, if I were her, I would just not post about me. Because I'm like, I don't want to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not worth it. You know, like, who gives a fuck if Aidan Kearney or Turtleboy is reporting on something that has nothing to do with her life? Like, why would anyone give a fuck? Like, you got your life. Go talk about auditors and 𝗫𝗏𝗄𝗃 de Castro and whatever the fuck else you talk about. Okay. But no, it just has to talk about me. Has to. Like, when they showed up that day at the courthouse, like on the day that Karen Reed was the food stamp 5. I mean, just watch this. Just that I shared this on Twitter, but just watch this crap. Like, this is wild. Let me see. I did a big thread today. Go check it out. I hit him. Okay, here it is. Did I share the whole thing? Here it is.
Piece of evidence that really makes you think Karen.
Oh my God. Just look at them. Look at her. Look at twisted tragedies, twisted charities.
Did it? I mean, there's about a million pieces of evidence. Her car came out alone.
And just look at her face. Just look at her face here. I mean, they're all crazy. This one's fucking really crazy. Julie, I've read your restraining orders, dear. Maybe we'll make those public too. We know all about the domestic incident. We got it all. We got it all, Julie. Hi, I know you're watching, dear. Nice hair. All right. But just look at their face. Just look at her face and just like, look at this. Just look at the face. Ready?
She said she did it. Missing every face.
Look at, she's not breathing. Like, she doesn't breathe.
I know, made statements that she did it. There is a car data that indicates that she went 24 miles an hour in reverse. It suggests an impact. There is taillight around his body.
Read.
The innocent families that have been smeared by this is unacceptable. You wouldn't want it to happen to your family, would you, ma'am? Would you want this to happen to your family? I would hope not. I would hope everything.
She goes, answer her. Answer her. Like this, what you saw right there, that anger, it's not for Karen Reed. It's not for John O'Keefe. It's for me. It's all for little old me. And I've never even had any sort of sexual, obviously. I think that, come on. It's, Alabama's like not playing the Patriots. It's like, it's not going to happen. Okay. Different levels we're talking about here. And she's not even Alabama. She's like UMass. And I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. Not happening. Not happening. But like that would somewhat explain it. You know what I mean? If she got addicted, like a crazy ex kind of thing. But she has no reason to be this crazy. Literally none. Absolutely none. And it's just insane. But back to this. Says, so in view of Ms. Peters' status as a state police source, any communication and evidence in her possession regarding the investigation and prosecution of Mr. Kearney is deemed to be within your possession, custody, and control. See Commonwealth versus Pope. The prosecution's disclosure obligation extends to anyone who has, quote, participated in the investigation or evaluation of the case, who has regularly report or with reference to the particular case have reported to the prosecution. And we're going to see that she satisfies that. According pursuant to Brady versus Maryland, Giglio versus United States, and Graham versus DA of Hamden District, and Rule 14 of the Massachusetts Rules of Criminal Procedures, we demand disclosure of A, any evidence Ms. Peter acted as an informant or agent of the state police, or Norfolk County DA's office or Special Assistant District Attorneys prosecuting Mr. Kearney, including but not limited to whether she is, quote, registered as an informant, which I doubt. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't, if I gun to my head, I don't even think it's that formal. I just think she likes doing it. Like she's just happy to do it. Happy to do it. Whether she is active or was deactivated, names of any state police handlers, when she became a source, when she started assisting the state police and or the Commonwealth with respect to Mr. Kearney, and any benefits, promises, rewards, leniencies in her own criminal matters or inducements she sought, received, or expects in connection with her cooperation against Mr. Kearney. B, all evidence and information in whatever form Ms. Peter furnished to the Commonwealth and or the state police involving the investigation or prosecution of Mr. Kearney. Because we're going to see she testified that she furnishes information regularly to the Commonwealth. Any records of Ms. Peters' communications, including but not limited to emails, calls, texts, IMs, Instagram, DMs, Discord messages, Facebook messages, Twitter messages, or any other third-party messaging applications related to her contacts and interactions with Mr. Kearney, fake victim, 𝗬𝗫 𝗫𝗄𝗃, the Commonwealth, the state police, or any other law enforcement agency regarding Mr. Kearney between October 1st, 2023 and the present. So we want all of her phone calls. We want them all. We want all the messages. We want everything. And we as you're going to see, we have legal ground to get all of them. Any documentation or memorialization of statements made by, because again, we are entitled to this. Like 𝗵𝗺 gave us all of his messages with the fake victim. 𝗵𝗺's a cop, kind of. He knows what he has to do. Like he knows he has to give us his communications from his work phone. That's what he did. We have all screenshots of him, of his messages with the fake victim, because he's a cop. He knows that. So he knows that when he texts stuff to anyone involved in a criminal investigation, that all of that is discoverable because he is an agent of the state. Well, Krusty Panties has, because of her obsession with me, has made herself an agent of the state, whether or not she wants to call herself that or refer to herself as that, which makes all of her communications discoverable, all of them. All right. Any documentation made by Peter to the Commonwealth, state police, or any other law enforcement agency regarding Mr. Kearney and or fake victim in any form, including but not limited to written reports, notes, emails, text messages, audio, and video recording. Ms. Peters' role and source for the state police. Now we get into it. Ms. Peter and Mr. Kearney are former colleagues who have publicly feuded for years. Motivated by hatred for Mr. Kearney, Ms. Peter aligned herself with the fake victim and others who disliked Mr. Kearney's reporting, including members of the Albert and McCabe families, some of whom are named in the first indictment against Mr. Kearney. Again, the only reason that she has any relationship whatsoever with the McAlberts is because I'm exposing them. Like, that's it. She wouldn't have given, if I didn't write about this case, she wouldn't give a fuck about it. If I took the position that Karen Read was guilty, she would take the position that Karen Read is innocent, and she would be attacking the McAlberts. It would be that's the only reason she has any interest in them whatsoever. The only way she has any interest in fake victim is because she had a relationship with me. That's it. Same with 𝗬𝗫 𝗫𝗄𝗃. And she reaches out to anybody who sues me. Anybody. She reaches out to all, like it. I'm not kidding you. She wakes up every single day and I take up 100% of her day, the entire fucking day. That's it. There's no other, like this individual. It's a sickness. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Nothing I've ever seen. She goes on. Miss Peter and Mr. Kearney are former colleagues. They publicly feuded. These alliances have enabled her to exploit the criminal justice system in furtherance of her effort to ruin Mr. Kearney. Ms. Peters' dedication to this task was so thorough that the state police and Commonwealth utilized her services to assist them in their investigation and prosecution of Mr. Kearney. Ms. Peter, who has no direct involvement in these matters and is not an alleged victim, was provided Mr. Mello's and the state police Detective Lieutenant Tully's private cell phone numbers. Like, why does Mello have Krusty Panties' number? I mean, think about that. Why does she have any communication with him whatsoever? If all of the things that I did are online or on YouTube, why does Mello need Krusty Panties at all? Why? She's not a victim in this, right? She's not a witness. What is she? Why is she so involved in this? Because the answer is not simple. Ken Mello is not watching 300 hours of my YouTube show. He wouldn't even know how to do that. Brian Tully's not doing it either. Only somebody, because they're like, if they don't like me, they're not going to listen to me that much. Only somebody so dedicated to me and so obsessed with me would do all this. And her MO over the years has been to take out of context clips from my shows and kind of weave them together and be like Turtleboy bad. That's what we call those videos, the Turtleboy bad videos. You know, like there's this one where I tell this kid to like kill himself, and they don't play the whole clip. And the whole time the kid's just like, I'm not really suicidal, but I'm going to do it just to fuck. I'm going to do it so you get in trouble. I'm going to kill myself so you get in trouble. They don't play that part. They just play, and I'm like, do it. Go ahead, do it. You know, you ain't going to do it. Like, you're fucking full of shit. You're a liar. And so that, like, I'm sure that she saw this and is like reached out to the police, because this is what she always does. She always reaches out to the Holden police. Talk to her all the time, to the point where she has now accused the Holden police of being involved in protecting me, if you will. She has threatened to protest the Holden police, like go down to the Holden police and hold a protest for them not arresting me for something. Anyway, back to this. She has no direct involvement. Thus, Ms. Peter has had the ability to call them on their private devices. As a valuable source of information against Mr. Kearney, Ms. Peter has presented the state police with video evidence, scoured Mr. Kearney's online presence, and reported things to the state police that they can't find or document, including a 30-second clip of a video that Mr. Kearney sent to Detective Lieutenant Tully, which the Commonwealth used to secure Mr. Kearney's indictment for wiretapping. See grand jury transcript of State Police Lieutenant John Fanning on February 22nd, 2024. So on February 22nd, 2024, I can't publish grand jury documents because it's against the law to do that. But you can cite them in documents like this, and that's what we've done here. So I was indicted on February 22nd for wiretapping. As you guys know, I filmed or recorded an incident, right? Where I felt children's lives were in danger on Christmas Eve. And a lot of you have heard that tape. It's pretty horrific. And it proved more than anything that I did not hit anyone, that I wanted to leave, that I was not allowed to leave, that the children were threatened when I said I was going to leave. So I recorded that to protect all of us, both of us, and the children. Well, then I went to jail. And while I was in jail, apparently, Krusty has made allegations that I doctored the tape or something like that. I don't know. I was in jail, so I didn't know what was going on. And we finally read the grand jury testimony that led to a wiretapping indictment. They're claiming I wiretapped that video. And what evidence do they have that this was wiretapping? What do they have? Well, Lieutenant Fanning testified at the grand jury when he was asked, like, where are you getting this he put the 15-minute video into evidence. They played that. And then they played a 30-second video. And they claim the 30-second video is the real video. I believe that's what they're saying. And that the 15-minute video is, I don't know what they're saying. That I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Okay. I don't even understand what the allegation is. I'm like, so they're saying that I doctored when I'm saying, I say in the video or the audio, I say, I'm recording this. And she says, I know. Something like that. And I guess Krusty is claiming, while I was in jail and couldn't defend myself, that there's an alternative video where I don't say that. But what? Like, none of this has been authenticated. Like, I'm like, wait, what? She is infamous for doctoring evidence. Like, this is her thing. Does anybody have the 𝗵 interview she did, or the 𝗵 clip? I wouldn't even know where to find it. There's so many clips. There's a clip of her. She does this interview with this guy, 𝗵. He's an attorney in California. And she admits to him on there that she forged, because I wrote about this. She filed a copyright complaint against me on one of my videos. When you do that, you get to dispute it. And I disputed it. I'm like, I don't have any copyright shit of hers on mine. And when you dispute the copyright, the person who makes the claim has to show that they filed a lawsuit in federal court for over copyright, or else there's no copyright. Okay. And she enters into evidence a federal lawsuit, like looks like a federal lawsuit. I'm like, what the fuck? She did not file a federal lawsuit. This is crazy. And I look at the lawsuit, and it's like 20 pages long. It alleges copyright. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I look at the docket number on the federal lawsuit. And I search it. I Google it. And what pops up? A 2013 copyright case in federal court in Massachusetts. She took an existing case and just wrote her name on it and my name on it. She doctored the whole thing. And she admits this in the 𝗵 interview. This is what she does. She doctors shit. So I have no idea. I haven't heard the tape that was entered into evidence by Fanning, the 30-second other version of the tape. But by the way, shouldn't it be 15 minutes? Like, if the one tape is 15 minutes, the doctored version, they claim, shouldn't the other version be 15 minutes? And how do we know that this other version is not doctored? How do you know this is the original one? Like, what? I don't even get what they're saying, because grand jury, you don't get to cross-examine these people. But what the key thing here is, grand jurors get to ask the witnesses questions, and Fanning gets asked, where'd you get this from? And he's like, 𝗵𝗵𝗏. Okay. Yeah. 𝗵 34th Street. Yeah. He interviews her. I forget what day. So they ask Fanning, where'd you get this from? And he has to say, I got it from a woman by the name of 𝗵𝗵𝗏. And they're like, who the fuck's 𝗵𝗵𝗏? There's a whole questioning back and forth about who she is. And in a nutshell, he says she is basically an informant for them, that she regularly gives them information. Because they didn't find this on their own. They didn't get this other version. So the whole wiretapping charge that I'm being charged with, that I was indicted for on the day that I got out, it's all from her. The entire thing is from her. And I have no doubt that the assault and battery thing, that was all her idea, her and Jen Duso. That was 100% their idea. And so was, I think, the original charges with the McAlberts. Like, all of those cut and paste. We've listened to the things I've been charged with in there. Everything's out of context. It's got her writing all over it. I guarantee if you go through her phone and read all her messages, there will be a plethora of plotting in there, in Discord groups and all sorts of stuff. Because she can't, like I said, she lives, eats, and breathes Turtleboy, and is obsessed with trying to take me down. And God knows what's in her phone. God knows what's in there. I mean, we got the fake victim's phone and has communications with her, and there's so much shit in there. Okay? So, goes on to say, on February 26th, several hours after Miss Peter called the police to help orchestrate Mr. Kearney's prosecution for allegedly violating a restraining order. I mean, it's just so crazy that it's like, there is no way, and we'll get to this in this letter when we get to the Paula Keefe stuff. We think that Paula Keefe didn't have any idea. Like, I honestly think that she played them all, that she lied to him, and we're going to get to that. But it says here, Mr. Kearney's prosecution for allegedly violating a restraining order, she left Mr. Kearney 2 crude, harassing, and in part threatening voicemails. In the first message, she gloated about her value as a source to the Commonwealth. And I've played these audios before, right? Let me see if I can find them. Because you got to hear just her voice. Like, it's just, oh my God. I know the voice is like nails on a chalkboard kind of shit. Let's see. Do I have it? Huh. Is this it? Okay, I found it. Hold on. I'm going to bring up this first one, and you guys should be able to hear it. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Yeah. Wait, could you guys hear that? I see people saying it's muted. There's no sound at all. Okay, let me try to, hold on. I gotta share my Twitter screen then. I'll play it one more time. You gotta hear the audio.
Hey, Megan, it's Kate. Kate Peter, you know, Krusty Panties, how you call it. I just wanted to let you know, every time you get a block number, it's not Lindsay or LG or anyone else. It's me. And I just want to let you know that when you go back to jail, I had absolutely everything to fucking do with it, because you're a dumb motherfucker, right? And every time that you victimize a female, I'm going to be right there pushing back. I just want you to know that. Play this on your fucking live show. I am going to get the best of you. You're a bad person, and everybody's going to see it. Have a nice day. By the way, Karen Reed wants nothing to do with you. Go fuck yourself, bitch. I meant it. I meant.
So, I mean, talk about obsessive. Obsessive. I mean, I don't even know where to, like, just obsessive. It's just, you hear it in the voice. It's just like, this is an unhealthy obsession. Like, absolutely insane. Like, that is an absolutely insanely dangerous person right there, who just can't stop, And so that we kind of dictate that all in the letter. And then in the second one, you hear this voicemail. We dictate this one. I'll play the second voicemail that she leaves. This is all on February 26th, the night of the Karen Reed hearing. And I came home that day. Like, I was shook up that day. You know, I was 3 days out of the can, very nervous about, like, head on a swivel about them trying to send me back. I had nightmares. I couldn't sleep when I first got out. I literally, you know, I slept much better in jail than I did when I was outside, because I was just constantly worried about, like, getting set up again. You know, it was, you know, it was tough. Mentally, it was tough. And then you get that voicemail and you're like, what the fuck? She sounds drunk as usual. And, you know, like, listen to some of the things that she said in there that we outline in the letter, you know. And I just want to let you know, first of all, she says, hey, faggot. That's going to play well in Massachusetts. And I just want to let you know that when you go back to jail, I had absolutely everything to fucking do with it. Bold and italicized. Okay. I'm going to get the best of you. You're a bad person. Everyone's going to see it. Go fuck yourself, bitch. I meant it. Okay. She seems nice. All right. And then she leaves this voicemail. So I post that one on Twitter, and then she sends this voicemail.
Hey, faggot, I can see that you can post my voicemails on your Twitter because you're a bitch. Why can't you face a female? I am not afraid of you. I never witnessed intimidated you. You're not a witness in any case. You're just a small dick fucking faggot that likes to prey on women. Call me back, motherfucker. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you did to Lindsay. Let's talk about what you did to 𝗺𝗵𝗂𝗃. Let's talk about what you did to Colin Albert, a 19-year-old juvenile. Let's talk about it, Aidan. Why are you so afraid of... I know that you're not. You just want to self-victimize. But how's your wife doing, by the way? How are your abused and neglected children doing, by the way? Call me back, you fucking faggot. I'll drive over to your parents' house right now. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't even...
Hey, faggot, I can see that...
I don't think so, Will. But I don't even know where to start with that one. That one's even more demonic. For her to say, the whole thing about, let's talk about what you did to Colin Albert, a 19-year-old juvenile. Then she goes into the thing about how's your wife doing? Like, she is obsessed and has been obsessed with my personal life for the last 4 years. Nobody else cares about my personal life. Like, why would you? Like, why would anybody out there listening right now, like, you don't give a fuck. I don't care. When Tom Brady was on the Patriots, I didn't care who he was married to, who he was dating, who he was cheating on. None of that mattered to me because he threw touchdowns. Like, that was my relationship with Tom Brady, was I'm supposed to enjoy it, and that's what people do to content creators. You just sit back and you enjoy it. What the fuck do you care about their personal life? She is obsessed with it. Contacted the mother of my children more times than I can count. And she wanted nothing to do with her, and would contact her at her work. She's a teacher, and 𝗵𝗵 the principal and shit. Like, do you know that your husband is having extramarital affairs with this? Okay. Nobody cares. Like, dude, nobody cares. But she cares a lot, and it's just bizarre. It is fucking a judge, and to the point where she becomes obsessed with anyone I'm dating. Like, her rule with people that I'm dating is really simple. If you cross over to her side and dedicate your life towards obsessing over me like Leah and the fake victim have done, then you don't get doxxed. Then you don't have your information put out there. Then you don't get harassed by her and her minions. Like, that's not, you're good. You're good. You're a good person because you've developed her sickness. If you don't, if you go the Lauren Murray route, then she posts your address, all your information comes to your house, and that's why she has an order and multiple charges against her now. Because what the fuck does she care about Lauren Murray? And she's admitted, the only reason I'm posting pictures of you is because Aidan is in them. Well, okay, well, that's not good. So, and she's literally called Lauren collateral damage, she called her. And she obviously does the same now with Meredith, right? And will do it to anyone. Like, that's just how she is. Like, it's like, but just insane. Absolutely fucking insane. Absolutely insane. So anyway, back to the letter. All right. So notice Mark puts in here, in the second harassing and threatening message, Miss Peter demonstrated her familiarity with and incorrect understanding of the Massachusetts Witness Intimidation Statute, where she says, I'm not afraid of you. I never witness intimidated you. You are not a witness in any case. Oh, but I was. Oh, but I was. At this point in February, she had not yet been charged with witness intimidation against me. The Holden police had filed a criminal complaint against her. That's why she doesn't like them, for witness intimidation. And we had a magistrate's hearing coming up. So she hadn't been charged yet. A criminal complaint had been filed, but she hadn't been charged. And instead of just leaving it be, knowing that this could, like a voicemail like that that was played at the magistrate's hearing. That did not go over well with the magistrate, as you can imagine. It also didn't go over well with the judge, which explains why she was charged and why an order was granted. Because when you hear those voicemails, you hear them and you're like, oh, this person's fucking insane. This person needs immediate protection. This person is, especially when you find out that there's no relationship there. Like, you didn't even blow him? Like, what? Then why do you care what he's doing? All right. So it says here in the footnote, Miss Peter assuredly knew that as a criminal defendant, Mr. Kearney qualified as a protected potential witness and someone aware of information, records, or documents or objects related to a violation of criminal law under the witness intimidation statute. Our witness intimidation statute is very broad. First of all, I'm a defendant, and she knew that, which means I'm a potential witness in my own cases, and she knew that. She also knows that I attend court proceedings a lot. That counts in the Massachusetts witness intimidation statute. She also knows that I'm an actual witness in Christina Yakimovsky's case in Milford District Court or Worcester Superior Court for wiretapping of all things. So she knew all this, and she's on video, and I'll play some of them later, of her threatening to, physically assault me if I go to court. I was also assaulted outside of court by her boyfriend, Andrew Johnson, the same Andrew Johnson who she chose over her own children. DCF gave her a choice, him or the kids. And she's like, you know what? See you later, kids. See you later. Anyway, goes on to say, her brazen statement that Mr. Kearney was, quote, not a witness, and belief that she had carte blanche to unload a barrage of crude, harassing, threatening statements to a possible witness without violating the witness intimidation statute evinces her knowledge of the significance of having Ms. Kearney classified as a witness by Mr. Mello. You see what happened here? You see what her statement there? She says you're not a witness. And because you're not a witness, I feel free to say all of these things, right? Like, she basically says that she can, like, she basically saying there, if you were a witness, I wouldn't be saying any of these things because you got special protection if you're a witness. But you're not a witness. Therefore, I will just say all these horrific things to you and threaten to go to your parents' house for some strange reason too. So she makes it clear. She understands, or thinks she understands, that the witness intimidation statute gives special protection to witnesses. And you can't say things to them that you can say to other people because they're special. That's what the statute has created, a special class of citizen. And she makes it clear, you don't count as a special person, Aidan, so I get to say all these things. That's why Mark wrote in his thing that it's an incorrect understanding of the statute. And it also acknowledges the significance of having Ms. Kearney classified as a witness. That was their plan the whole time. Was they realized with the McAlberts, they're like, what can we do with this guy? Let's get an order on him. Let's get a harassment prevention order on him. Jen McCabe tried to get an order on me and failed. Chris Albert tried to get an order on me and he failed. Fuck. Because according to the statute, O'Brien versus Borowski, you have to be in true fear, imminent fear of physical harm, and they have to be true threats. And I've never threatened them or caused physical harm to any of these people. So it's hard. They couldn't get an order on me. And so they're like, wait, so they're looking through the law. They must have been looking through the whole MGL, all the laws in our state. And then they found 268, section 13, A and B. Right. And they're like, oh, we got something here. Oh, by the way, remind me to talk about Tony Raymond today before we're all done. I got to tell you Tony's story too, but because he's got a trial coming up this week on Thursday. Anyway, and they read the statute and they're like, wait a minute. If we just classify people as witnesses, then he can't say anything to them. Then it's witness. Then you just say you're experiencing emotional harm, and that's it. And that's why in the messages between the fake victim and Leah Genduso, they have this come to Jesus moment where they're like, aha, I have an idea. And I believe the language they used in those messages was, it will be fun to beat him at his own game or something like that. We're going to get these bogus witness intimidation charges on him and beat him at his own game. Okay? So that's crazy. Like, they put that in writing. They're like, basically, like, this is the plan, is to turn her into a witness, knowing, even though she hasn't witnessed anything, it had nothing to do with any of the McAlbert stuff. So what is she a witness to? But they're just like, we will make her a witness, and then we will eventually, he's going to talk to her. We got to get her. He dumped her. So we got to get her talking to her again. And how are we going to get that going? Give her a summons. Give her a grand jury summons. That's going to pique his interest. And it did. Like, no interest in her prior to that. And all of a sudden she shares this freaking grand jury summons and wants me to come over. Anyway. So they understand the significance of this. And Miss Peter, whose calls to Mr. Kearney were designed solely to harass and humiliate, remains uncharged for her clear violations of the statute for that call on February 26. While Mr. Kearney, a practicing journalist whose reports on the Kearney case exposed possible corruption in an alleged cover-up involving several of the state police and civilian witnesses against him, is under indictment for making phone calls, expressing his opinion, reporting, and encouraging further discussion on a controversial and high-profile case of public concern. Goes on to say, on March 11th, Ms. Peter again took credit for her substantial contributions to the Commonwealth, boasting under oath that Mr. Kearney, quote, is angry and upset with me because I have been cooperating with the prosecution and giving them information on him. He can blame me for all his problems because I am furnishing information. She says this. She gives this statement, and I could play the clip. I have it somewhere. It's on YouTube. At the March 11th hearing for her restraining order, she is the one who brags in court that she is, quote, cooperating with the prosecution and giving them information on him, that she is causing me problems because she is furnishing information. She said that in court on March 11th. She offered that up, not me. She is the one announcing now that she is an agent of the state and involved in the charges against me, which makes everything in her phone discoverable. Everything. Every communication. All the shit Tully had to give us, she's going to have to give it too. On September 5th, 2024, testifying in a West Roxbury matter in which she was accused of witness intimidation and violation of a restraining order. So this is the September 5th hearing with Lauren Murray, in which she was renewing her order against her, and she was, probation was going to undo her 𝗃. She took a 𝗃, continuance without a finding, which is basically a guilty plea that you get a year probation for, and then it goes away. Well, they were going to undo that, and they could have asked to convict her, but they didn't. And the judge is like, well, I'm going to give her some fucking community service then. So she gave her 30 hours of community service that day. So on that day, Miss Peter, while she was talking, described herself as a, quote, potential witness in Mr. Kearney's criminal cases. She swore under oath that when she saw her accuser on October 11th, 2023 in the Stoughton District Court, this is Lauren Murray, she was at my arraignment. Both Lauren Murray and Krusty Panties were there. Krusty Panties has to leave because Lauren Murray has an order on her. Krusty Panties didn't leave. Krusty Panties was charged by the Stoughton Police Department again for the third time with violating an order against Miss Murray. So she testifies at this hearing about the October 11th incident. She said that she was there to, quote, meet Mr. Mello, even though she wasn't named as an alleged victim in that or any case. And the footnote here, okay, where's the footnote where's footnote number 2? This one where she says, fuck you, I'll drive over to your parents, fuck you. Minutes later, Miss Peters sent Mr. Kearney the following message on Discord. Aidan, you dickless faggot, answer your phone. And then she posted my phone number. And then she said, Mark says here, Bederow, we intend to examine Miss Peter and Mr. Mello under oath about the purpose of this meeting on October 11th and the substance of their conversation at the January 10th, 2025 evidentiary hearing on our motion to disqualify Mr. Mello under Rule 3.7 of the State Rules of Professional Conduct. So she announced in court on September 5th that she was at my hearing on October 11th. And after the hearing, she said that she went downstairs with the other witnesses, the McAlberts, and Ken Mello to have a meeting with him. Why is Krusty Panties having a meeting with the special prosecutor? Why? She said this under oath. Why is she having a meeting with the special prosecutor at all? Like, what? Why? Why is she involved? What is she going to offer them? Like, what? Unless she's the driving force behind all this, because we know goddamn well it wasn't Mello. We know that motherfucker doesn't even know how to turn on a computer, does he? Miss Peters, and so at the January 10th evidentiary hearing, it's gonna be legendary. We have two hearings coming up. We have the motion to suppress hearing in December, and then we get the bad boy, the January 10th, 2025 hearing, the evidentiary hearing, where Krusty Panties is going to have to testify, and Mello is going to have to testify, and probably the fake victim too, and probably Brian Tully. They're all going to have to testify. So get your popcorn ready for that one, because we have a lot of questions. Miss Peters' working relationship with the state police and the Commonwealth is so strong that the Norfolk County DA's office has recused itself from 2 witness intimidation prosecutions currently pending against her in Norfolk County. Indeed, Miss Peter admitted as much to Miss Gattani, who documented this facts in a text message that she sent to Miss Peter on December 12th. So this is a message that we got in their phones. This is a message that the fake victim sent to Krusty Panties on December 12th. She said, Aidan thinks that your case is being moved out of Stoughton because he is the conflict of interest. He has no idea it's because you are working with the police, LOL. I mean, right there. Right there in writing. Like, they never thought that we would read these messages, that we would get these messages. Tully ain't stupid enough to put something like that in writing. Tully's messages aren't nearly as interesting. These are the kind of messages you send when you don't think your phone's ever going to get read. She literally tells her, so, like, again, Krusty Panties was charged with violating an order in Stoughton. Stoughton is in Norfolk County. And I thought it was interesting that a special prosecutor from Plymouth County was put on that one. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I talked to the fake victim about that. And I'm like, yeah, I think they have that on there because of me. I think they have a special prosecutor on because of me. And what does she say in this message? Ha ha. Because remember, she was playing both sides of the fence. She's talking to me and talking to her at the same time. He thinks that your case is being moved because he's the conflict of interest. He has no idea it's because you are working with the police. Boom. Done. Done. Right there. I mean, this is disturbing. You're right. I see people say this is disturbing. It's disturbing because the level of planning that went into it, that I lost my freedom for 60 days over this, and because of the degenerate type of lowlifes. Yes, that's the fake victim sending that message to Kate. Okay, because of the degenerate type of lowlifes that the Commonwealth and the state police are willing to align themselves with in order to get me and Karen Reed. Karen Reed was a financial whatever at Fidelity, an adjunct professor at Bentley, a law-abiding, productive, tax-paying member of society. I am the same. Okay, I have 2 kids. I go to basketball games. I do shit. I'm a regular person. Okay. And they are coming after me and Karen Reed. And they're aligning themselves with the absolute dregs of society. These are the lowest class individuals possible. And the police are aligning themselves with them. Okay? It goes without saying that any evidence within your possession, custody, or your control related to Ms. Peters' relationship with the Commonwealth and the state police, including her possible motive to favor the prosecution over Mr. Kearney, must be disclosed under Brady, Banks, and Barry. Ms. Peters' direct role in the prosecutions against Mr. Kearney. There's a footnote here. Where's footnote 4? Footnote 4 is right here about progeny. So let's read this footnote because the footnotes are the best. Notwithstanding the Norfolk County DA's recusal on Ms. Peters' criminal matters, that office inexplicably represented the Commonwealth at her most recent arraignment for witness intimidation on October 1st, 2024. Remember last week? She got represented like that she was charged by the Norfolk County DA's office. They didn't recuse herself. And look what they did here. Look at this shit. That appearance afforded the Commonwealth with a strong basis to seek revocation of her bail, which would have been an expected motion from a disinterested prosecutor, given that she has 4 pending witness intimidation cases. Like bail revocation, when you're out on that many charges, is a pretty standard motion from any prosecutor. However, on information and belief, the Norfolk DA's office did not notify the court about her special relationship with the Commonwealth and state police. Consequently, the court likely was kept ignorant about their special relationship and was not presented with an application to revoke her bail. In these circumstances, there is at least an appearance or preferential treatment provided to Ms. Peter by the Norfolk County DA's office due to her cooperation against Mr. Kearney. She seems to get a lot of favorable treatment, doesn't she? You know, and let's not forget, she doesn't get a bail revocation. And let's not forget what happened with the Dedham police not too long ago, shall we? You remember this?
Up and down this street a lot, and I have a restraining order on her. So, I feel unsafe really just walking by here at all.
You could cross there at that crosswalk and walk down and avoid the 50.
Or I have a right to walk whatever way I want to walk, though.
She has the right to be here.
No, she's not.
She has the right to be here. I have a restraining order on her, but she has the right to be here, and he's just like, nope, I'm going to protect her. Yeah, basically, I'm going to protect her.
If I have an order on her.
All right, and because she was here first. And I'm like, can you please? I'm trying to get down.
So I spoke to Officer Caddy, who confirmed with me that if I have a right to walk in a straight line, and she needs to move. So can you ask her to move for me so I can walk by safely here?
Oh, that's good. Fine.
Well, I want her to physically move.
No.
No, he's just not doing it. Not doing it. No, doesn't feel like doing it. So that's the kind of special treatment she gets in Norfolk County, and we want to know why. This is because she's not some law-abiding, decent person that she gets special treatment. It's like, it seems like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The restraining order says that she doesn't have a right to be there. Like, that's the whole point. Like, and the cop knows that. But it's just interesting she's getting all this special treatment. So, and again, they don't bring any of that up. They don't bring up the fact that she's out on bail. It's just odd. As explained, 𝗃 page 6, Ms. Peter has described herself as a potential witness against Mr. Kearney. It made little sense for Mr. Mello to meet with Ms. Peter on the day of Mr. Kearney's arraignment for charges that didn't involve her, unless, just as Ms. Peter and Lieutenant Fanning testified, she was a valuable source for the Commonwealth and the state police in their investigation of Mr. Kearney. Her obsession with me is finally paying off. Like, she's been obsessed with me for years, and no cops were corrupt enough and shameless enough to ever be involved with her. And then she found Norfolk County on a map, and everything changed. Miss Peters' involvement in the case involving Miss Kearney is more apparent. Evidence from the extraction report of the fake victim's phone demonstrates that Miss Peter advised Miss Kearney through the process that resulted in the fake victim accusing Mr. Kearney of crimes. For example, in early December 2023, Miss Peter leveraged her special relationship with the Commonwealth and State Police and urged the fake victim to speak with Mr. Mello. On the morning of December 11th, 2023, so this is 2 days after I dumped her, 2 days later, on December 11th, 2023, just hours before the fake victim and Leah Genduso workshopped making Miss Kearney a witness against Mr. Kearney so Miss Kearney could, quote, play him at his own game and have him jailed, Miss Peter encouraged the fake victim to speak directly and secretly with Mr. Mello. Miss Peters' reasoning was to prevent the existence and substance of the conversation from being discovered by Mr. Kearney or others who might later seek access to public records. So we haven't seen these before. Here's the text message conversation on December 11th. Krusty says, I'm going to work on getting you some legal protection here. Fake victim says, how? Because this is their big concern, was the fake victim wanted to put me in jail just because she was mad because the relationship ended. She wanted to put me in jail. She just didn't. She was worried that I would defend myself and point out what a ratchet she is. And she's like, so her plan, the whole plan here was to make her a witness. And then if I talk about her, I go to jail. Like that was their plan here. Make her a witness. And that way, when he finds out what she's been doing and how she's been working with these people while seeing me, he can't say anything about it. He can't be mad about it. He can't write about it. He can't talk about it. This is what they told her. And that's not the way it is, though, because that's not how the First Amendment works. They used her. Not that she was a happy participant, don't get me wrong. But they told her, don't worry, he's never going to find out about any of this shit. Just, they used her. They used and abused her. And they're going to throw her out like trash the second she's no longer of use to them, which is now. All right? No, she didn't come to court after I got my order amended, did she? I didn't have a use for her anymore. So she asks, I'm going to work on getting special legal protection here because, like, AKA, we're going to make you a witness. How? I'm going to call Mello in a bit when shit calms down here. Feel out the situation. You have some information that would certainly be an incentive to the powers that be to protect you, except she didn't have any information at all. There's nothing that she could offer of any interest that we saw in, like, the whole police report. Like, she just talks about Karen Reed, basically. It's like nothing of interest. No bombshell. She has no interest. But Krusty, again, don't get your legal advice from Krusty Panties. And she says, you have information that would certainly be an incentive to the powers that be to protect you. Don't tell anyone we've talked, please. Oh, why not? Miss Peter then says, I've got Mello's cell number. It can't be FOIA'd. His line is obviously not recorded. So this guy, basically she's saying this prosecutor is shady as fuck. And he will speak to you off the record, which you can't do. And no one will ever know that you're involved in this. Like, that's not how any of this works. This is completely illegal. Krusty says, I know you were asking for Tully's phone number yesterday, but it's actually better going straight to Mello. Honestly, they make more info than they give me. They take more info from her than they give, LOL. A common misconception that I get my info from the district attorney or state police. I don't, generally speaking. I just have a really good relationship with the O'Keeffes, the Alberts, the McCabe's, and several local journalists working on this thing. And then there's a footnote. It says, that evening, Miss Peter enticed Miss Kearney to speak with a journalist preparing an expose on Mr. Kearney. Who do you think the journalist is that she asked the fake victim to get lunch with and spill the tea about Me Too? Who do you think that journalist is, quote unquote? Take a wild guess. No, it's not Grant. It's not Grant. Yeah, it's Gretchen, of course. All right. So she tells her that Gretchen is going to do a hit piece on Aidan, and she would love to speak to a jilted lover, because that's the kind of story that 𝗵𝗄𝗧𝗃 is into, apparently. And she can't wait to sign up for this, to meet 𝗵𝗄𝗧𝗃. After impressing Miss Kearney by describing her direct relationship with Voss, including that she had dinner with the reporter, she also told me that she did mushrooms with 𝗵𝗄𝗧𝗃. That's in my notes that were stolen from me that night, that she did mushrooms with 𝗵𝗄𝗧𝗃. That's the kind of trash bag 𝗵𝗄𝗧𝗃 is, in case anyone was wondering. The type of person who does mushrooms with Krusty Panties. Okay? Miss Peter urged Miss Kearney to share her, quote, invaluable perspective with the reporter. What is the invaluable perspective? Like, what is that perspective? She slept with Turtleboy? Like, what's the perspective there? Like, what is the interesting thing there? What? It's the same thing. It's the same thing you see on video. Like, trust me, it's just less clothes. There's nothing else to talk about. Okay. The next day, the fake victim, who has not yet spoken to Mr. Mello, replied, "Oh my God, really? I will gladly talk with Gretchen. I will gladly talk with Gretchen. Can't wait. Can't wait to just start smearing me and whatever. Like, can't wait. This is like 2 days out after we ended things." And then Miss Peter says, okay, I did talk to Mello, quote, off the record with some specifics, except nothing's ever off the record as a special prosecutor. That's not how this works. Miss Peter then provided Miss Kearney. Oh, and then here's the thing. On December 28th, Mr. Mello told the Fall River Reporter that Miss Kearney recently became a witness after we received some communication from her. And that's how we know this, like, Krusty was the intermediary. Miss Peter then provided Miss Kearney with Mr. Mello's private phone number. Left unanswered is what Miss Peter and Mr. Mello discussed during any off-the-record conversations, which you can't have, and what Miss Kearney and Mr. Mello discussed in conversations that Miss Peter suggested should be held in a manner designed to avoid possible disclosure. The fact that they said that, like, can't be FOIA'd means you're hiding something from the public. They're not allowed. He has to use his government phone to conduct government business. If you use your personal phone to conduct government business, then that personal phone becomes available under public records requests, period. Similarly, as illustrated by their text exchange from the evening of December 13th, 2023, the defense is entitled to know what advice Miss Peter provided Miss Kearney, who was concerned about her own criminal exposure shortly after she spoke to the state police for the first time. The footnote here says, once again, based on the substance of Miss Kearney's responses, it appears that some of Miss Peter's responses are not included in the extraction report. We started noticing this. Like, we got the whole extraction report and we're like, wait a minute. So she said this, and then there's no response from Krusty. And then she has this other response where it looks like she's responding to something, but what the fuck is she responding to? Like, something, we put all the clues together here. Like, shit starts disappearing, and only Krusty's shit disappears. Only her shit. None of the fake victim shit disappears. Just Krusty's. So the fake victim says, I'm worried now. This is December 13th after she spoke to Tully. And what they spoke about on the phone on the 13th because they had told her, Jen McCabe and Krusty Panties had told her, first of all, Jen McCabe told her, like, if she wants to, Jen McCabe told her that if she wants to make amends for what she'd done, because she was part of the Free Karen Reed movement, right? There's that picture of her. I mean, she messed around with Turtleboy. That's like it's like a mortal sin in 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝗆 world, right? But if you wanted to apologize, you know, show you were sorry, then she has to just completely flip and give us everything. And that night of the 23rd, she told me how like pissed off she was by that, like called Jennifer McCabe a cunt and said basically that, you know, like, who does she think she is, making me blah, blah, blah. She became her bitch though real quick, didn't she? Yeah, she did what Jennifer McCabe told her to do. And she's going to continue to do that. So she says, I'm worried now. Okay. Because what did Tully tell her? Tully told her, I need your phone. And you're going to have to testify at the grand jury. That's two things. Tully's just like, all Tully gave a fuck about was like, give me your phone. That's all he cared. He didn't give a fuck about her. He's like, oh, you fucked around with Turtleboy? Oh, you have messages where he talks about Karen Reed? Oh, I'm gonna need your phone. Gonna need your phone. And so now she's worried about this because Krusty Panties and Jen McCabe had promised her that he's not going to get your phone. And first time she talks to Tully, Tully's like, I need your phone. And Tully got the phone, didn't he? She goes, I'm worried now. Worried about what? And then she goes, now I'm worried. Look, see how something's missing here? Fake victim says, I'm worried now. Then Krusty says, worried about what? And then she says, now I'm worried. What are you worried about? What did she say that worried you? There's an 8-minute gap there. Interesting. And then she says this. The fake victim goes, I'm just worried for Jane. Was that considered witness intimidation? I can't even remember now what the tweet said that he was mentioned in. So Jane is explained in the first Bederow letter. While I was dating her, we found this out on her phone. I knew she was Jane the whole time, but the phone just proved it. While I was seeing her, there was an account called Jane with a whole bunch of numbers on Twitter. And Jane would shit on me. And any woman that I said nice things about, including Rita Lombardi, Olivia Lambo, Deanna Corby, and especially Lauren Murray, would just fucking, and she shared screenshots that I had shown her, the Jane account did, and I'm like, how the fuck does this account? And I brought it up to her. I'm like, are you seeing this? Who's this account? How do they have these screenshots? And she's like, fuck. She goes, fucking Grace. That's what she said. She blamed it on Grace, the babysitter. Poor Grace. All right. And she just blamed Grace for everything. And I'm like, oh, I guess Grace is a talker. You know, I believed it because I'm like, there's no way I'm seeing her. Like, she's telling me all these nice things. Like, oh, I support you. I got your back. You know, blah, blah, blah. And then Jane is on Twitter being like, I can't wait till he goes to jail. Can we hope that he goes to jail for this? Like, what the fuck? So I know she's Jane. I've called her out for being Jane. But look what she's telling Krusty. She's telling Krusty, I'm just worried for Jane. For Jane. She is pretending to Krusty. She's telling Krusty. She hasn't told Krusty she's Jane. Krusty has no fucking clue that she's Jane. See what I'm saying here? I'm going to write a whole story on this someday. I've already got it all written out. So Jane was a character that she created who was supposed to be friends with the fake victim. Okay? And so Jane starts reaching out to Krusty Panties Krusty Panties had no idea that she was talking to Lindsay all throughout November. They had entire conversations on the Jane account. But she had no idea. Jane was pretending to be a friend of Lindsay's who was reaching out to Krusty and telling her, please take it easy on Lindsay. because she knows, Lindsay knew, that once Kate finds your identity, you're going to get doxxed. You're going to get the Lauren Murray treatment. See what I'm saying? She knew that, like, and she did not want to become Lauren Murray. She did not want to have Kate post her address and all this shit. She didn't want that. She was scared of Kate. So in order to preemptively make sure that she would never get doxxed by Kate, she created Jane. And Jane was Lindsay's friend. And Jane would reach out to Kate and tell her, like, Lindsay's just going through a phase and she really hates him and she's trying to end things with him and he just won't break up with her. Meanwhile, she's telling me I'm pregnant and all. Like, it's like fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. I was living in a crazy world for 3 months. It was insane. Yes, she did catfish her. So she was Jane. All right. So, as you are aware, Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 lied to Miss Peter, amongst others, about the identity of Jane. Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 is Jane. She created that fake Twitter persona on her cell phone in October of 2023. We know because we have the emails, to anonymously communicate with people who dislike Mr. Kearney and to release harmful information about him. The above text suggests that Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 was concerned that if she spoke to the state police and gave them her cellular phone, they would discover that she was Jane and that she violated the same witness intimidation statute that she, Miss Peter, and Miss Genduso sought to exploit as the basis for Mr. Kearney's arrest and incarceration, and that is exactly what Jane did. Jane committed witness intimidation. The Jane account has been deleted. I've got all the screenshots. I've got every single tweet that Jane ever made because I knew it was her. Okay? And the Jane tweets were filled with witness intimidation. Filled with it. Threats to me. Don't testify. All sorts of shit. We got it all. I archived fucking everything. That's what I do. So we got it all. And we know that, and this is why she says here, I'm worried for Jane. Was that considered witness intimidation? I can't remember what the tweet said that he was mentioned in. Oh, Daddy remembers. I remember. Because I got the screenshots of what Jane said. And she has every reason. Like, yes, absolutely. That's witness intimidation. Jane's in trouble. Okay. She said nothing that any reasonable, like Kate says about Jane. She, not you, she. Kate thinks Jane is a different person. She said nothing that any reasonable person could reach and say is witness intimidation. Again, don't get your legal advice from Krusty Panties. Okay? This is Miss 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 then says, okay, well, I'm going to be calling you before my meeting with Tully tomorrow with anyway, with more questions about this. I feel like that's something he would try to do and wasn't even thinking of something like that. So she's going to call Krusty before her meeting with Tully on the 14th. Miss Peter was also the driving force for Mr. Kearney's arrest for his alleged violation of a restraining order on February 26, 2024. Mr. Kearney, who had been released from jail on February 23rd, 2024, announced the following evening on his Turtleboy live show that he would be attending the February 26th Karen Reed hearing. A review of that communications between Miss 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 and Miss Peter demonstrates that they regularly watched and discussed Mr. Kearney's live shows. It's funny reading their messages. When I'm live and on Turtle Club, they're just sitting back and forth, rage texting with each other. Like, can you believe what he just fucking said? I fucking hate him. If you search hate him in the data extraction, it comes up like 50 times. Like, it is just, she announces her motive the whole time. Hatred. Hate him. Hate him. And they just found each other. These two people who are just obsessed with me. And it's just like a match made in heaven. They were destined to be best friends. How about this? Several weeks earlier, in January of 2024, Miss Peter told Miss 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 that Paul O'Keefe, the brother of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, wanted to meet with her. And we have these in texts. Miss 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 excitedly responded, quote, Paul O'Keefe wants to talk to me, in all caps, like so excited. Like Paul O'Keefe wants to talk to little old me. Oh my goodness. So Krusty reaches out to her and says, Paul O'Keefe wants to talk to you. She's like, oh my God, Paul O'Keefe wants to talk to me? In April of 2024, this was at the hearing in which we were trying to get rid of the restraining order that she was abusing. In April of 2024, Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃, who had not attended any other Reed proceedings, testified that she went to the February 26, 2024 appearance at the personal invitation of Paul O'Keefe. And now you see what's happening here? We got a theory about this. I don't think she's lying, and I don't think Paul O'Keefe is lying. Mr. O'Keefe's communications with Mr. Kearney contradict Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃. Remember I talked to Paul O'Keefe, and he's like, what? I didn't invite her. Mr. O'Keefe denied inviting Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 to court. He told Mr. Kearney that there was a, quote, miscommunication, but Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 didn't lie because she thought Mr. O'Keefe invited her. Mr. O'Keefe's explanation suggests that Ms. Peter told Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 that Mr. O'Keefe wanted her to appear in court to entice Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃, who had an open restraining order against Mr. Kearney, to attend. Again, think about this. She put the whole thing together. Krusty knows. Keep in mind, why is Krusty being charged in Stoughton? Because she didn't leave a courtroom when someone with an order shows up. She knows this. She's like, wait a minute. He's going to get out of jail on the 23rd, and he's going to go to the Karen Reed hearing. If we can, in Krusty's mind, she's thinking she's using the fake victim. She's just using her, and she doesn't give a. She's happy to be used, but she is using her. And so she's like, wait a minute. What if I get her to go? But how am I going to get her to go? How am I going to convince? Because that's a big ask, because you got to go in with the McAlberts, and you got to go through the gauntlet of free Karen Reed people, and you are going to become a villain overnight. Like, none of you people knew who Lindsay Gattani was prior to this. Like, even when I was in jail, most of you were like, you didn't know much about her, right? So if I were her, I'd want to keep like a low profile as possible, right? That's not the way Krusty thinks. Krusty thinks like, how can I use this person? How can I exploit this person? Because she doesn't give a fuck about her. So she tells her that she's going to, that Paul O'Keefe wants her there. And she's a really little old me. And that's why she testified on April 26th that Paul invited her, because Krusty told her. I don't think she's ever spoken to Paul. That's my guess. I don't think she's ever spoken to Paul O'Grift. I think Krusty just set the whole thing up. I think she's the mastermind of all of this, all of it. Okay. Anyway, Ms. Peters' communications with the fake victim and Mr. O'Keefe will shed light on this question. In any event, it appears that Ms. Peter coordinated Ms. 𝗃𝗃𝗃's presence at the February 26th appearance to make sure Mr. Kearney would not be able to attend, and to increase the likelihood that he would be arrested if he went into the courthouse. She knew this. And that's why she called 911. Before, if you were the fake victim and you're sitting in court, you have no idea where I am at that point. None. You saw me leave. She saw me leave the courtroom, but she had no idea where I was. So she couldn't even say that I'm violating the order, because when she left, she had no idea where I was. We didn't see each other, but Krusty knew where both of us were. This was all Krusty. This is a Krusty production, right? And so it goes on to say, Miss Peter accomplished her goals. Mr. Kearney was required to leave the courtroom after the fake victim arrived with her restraining order in hand. He went outside and began a live stream to explain the situation to his interested viewers. Miss Peter, who wasn't even there, immediately called police to report Mr. Kearney, quote, was just removed from the courtroom. He's in violation of the restraining order. He refuses to leave the courthouse steps. He's within 100 yards of this victim and is currently screeching how he's there. He's definitely in violation of the restraining order. you might want to get someone down there. Okay. And then it says here in the footnote, and think about this too, because why didn't, here's a question you should ponder. So the fake victim calls the police at 2:30 to report vandalism to her car, right? That day. Why didn't she tell the cop that I violated the order? If I actually violated it, why didn't she tell him that? And the answer to that is simple. When you think about it, she didn't know I was there. For all she knew, I had gone in my car and left and gone home. She didn't see me, and I didn't see her. And then 5 hours later, she reports to the police that I violated this order. Why? Why did she suddenly report hours later that I was there? Simple. She talked to Krusty. Krusty tells her he was there. He was outside the court. He was at the registry of deeds. She had no idea I was there. And then she tells the people in her party, go check the videos. Check your cell phone videos. And then one of them sees me in the grassy knoll across the street behind a fucking tree, trying to get as far away from them as possible. Set the whole thing up. The whole thing. And it says in the footnote here, on March 14th, 2024, Mr. Mello attempted to use this incident as a basis to revoke Mr. Kearney's bail because I was charged. And usually if you violate a restraining order, it is an automatic arrest. But it was weird. In my case, it wasn't. It was almost like the court knew this is bullshit, but they still charged me. After an evidentiary hearing at which the Dedham police officers who interacted with Mr. Kearney and Ms. 𝗵𝗃 testified, the court refused to detain Mr. Kearney. Remember that? Dangerous. Go. Pomeroy kept saying to, and then he's like, Your Honor, he made a Pornhub. Like, made a Pornhub for me? How would that be a violation of the order? What? What? Your Honor, what? Okay. On April 26th, after an evidentiary hearing at which Ms. 𝗵𝗃 testified about her version of what occurred, the court lessened the conditions of the restraining order against Mr. Kearney. Think about this. We asked the judge on April 26th. We explained all this. She testified about why she was there. She got caught in so many lies. And we wanted the judge to vacate the restraining order. As it so happens, there is no basis to do this. There's no precedent to get rid of a restraining order. No one's ever done it before. There's no case law. So the judge goes back to his chambers for 20 minutes and he comes back out and he says, I've reviewed the case law and I can't find anything that gives me the power to do this. AKA he wants to get rid of the order. He knows it's bullshit. He sees what's going on here. He sees that she is showing up to where I am to evict me from courtrooms so I can't do my job. He's not stupid. So he goes, he wants to do it. He just can't. But what he can do is something we didn't even ask for. And he changes the conditions of the order. The order is amended. And it says that I can go within 50 yards of any courthouse in the state of Massachusetts and not be in violation of the order. So she has lost the ability to kick me out of a courtroom. And she never showed up in court again after that, did she? She just stopped showing up. Well, she couldn't kick me out. It wasn't as fun because she's not interested in the Kearney trial. She didn't give a fuck about any of this shit. All right. So communications and statements of Miss Peter are discoverable under Brady and Giglio and Rule 14, irrespective of whether you intend to call her as a prosecution witness. The Commonwealth is in possession, custody, and control of the requested evidence, which on information and belief tends to support the defense position that Miss Peter's animus towards Mr. Kearney led her to gather evidence against Mr. Kearney at the behest of the Commonwealth and then provide it to them. Orchestrate Mr. Kearney's arrests by using her special relationship with the Commonwealth and the state police and befriend Miss 𝗵𝗃 for the purpose of cajoling her to accuse Mr. Kearney of criminal conduct. When you see how much they talk on the phone, it is insane. On December 24th, the morning after I allegedly just assaulted her, right? I mean, that made up lie about assault, right? We all know it didn't happen. Did she call police? No. Does she call Brian Tully? No. She calls Krusty Panties. And they talk on Christmas Eve for 2.5 hours, according to the call records. 2.5 hours on the phone. And God knows what type of shenanigans they were plotting. Because the next thing you know, the next phone call is to Brian Tully. And then Brian Tully comes over on Christmas Eve. This is how Christmas Eve was spent at her house. Brian Tully comes over. And then Brian Tully calls the Medfield police to report that she has been assaulted. She doesn't call the cops. Brian Tully calls. So God knows what sort of planning took place during those phone calls. And little old me, I'm trying to spend Christmas Eve with my goddamn kids who I love dearly and I actually take care of them, unlike these degenerates. And then I get told, I find out later on that there's a warrant out for my arrest. And they've lied too. They said that I called the Holden police. The Holden police told me there was a warrant. They didn't. The Holden police kind of tried to trick me a little bit. So they called. I wasn't at the house. We had gone to my sister's for Christmas Eve. I'm not going to say where she lives, somewhere in Middlesex County. Okay. And I get a call there from the Holden police. And they said, hey, we just stopped by the house. We got something for you. We need you to come pick it up. I thought it was like I was getting served with a lawsuit or some shit, some paperwork, whatever. No, it was if I had gone and I'm like, okay, I'll try to come in. And it's fucking Christmas Eve, you know what I mean? Okay, I'll get it later. So the Holden police didn't tell me there was a warrant out for my arrest. They just said they had some paperwork for me. Had I gone to the Holden Police Department, I would have been arrested and I would have spent Christmas in jail. But I didn't go. And later on, I found out through Twitter, basically, that there was a bolo out for me. Right? I found out the same way you guys did. But I hadn't been served yet, so I ain't turned oh, fuck that. I turned myself in on my birthday. All right? And I got to spend a little time on Christmas with my kids. It was the worst Christmas, man. It was the worst fucking Christmas. Like, I didn't even get to enjoy it. I didn't get to watch my kids open presents. Like, it's fucking horrible, man. I felt robbed. They robbed me of Christmas, these people. But they'll get theirs. And to know that it was this devious, like, this is the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, okay? Like, in the messages, by the way, with Tully and her, like, she called 𝗺𝗵𝗃𝗺 on Christmas Eve. 𝗺𝗵𝗃𝗺. Presumably because she wanted to, like, tell him that I have a warrant out for my arrest. She started going on Jerry Callahan's website and trying to get in contact with him. Like, anybody who I was professionally linked to, she tried to reach. All right. And, like, Krusty was behind all this. You know it. And then on Christmas, it's fucking horrible. Like, when you read it all, I'll read it all someday. Like, it's a crazy story. You're just getting bits and pieces here. Anyway, the last message from Miss Peter that appears on the extraction report from Miss Catani's cellular phone was sent on December 14th at 1:16 a.m. It is hard to accept because, again, they messaged all the time. And then it's only messages from the fake victim, none from Krusty. It's hard to accept as coincidence that Miss Peters' communications seemingly cease shortly after Miss Catani's texts to Miss Peter about her interactions with Mr. Mello and Detective Lieutenant Tully, and Jennifer McCabe's feedback on Miss Catani's meeting with Detective Lieutenant Tully. So these are all text messages from the fake victim on December 14th, the day that she meets with Tully in the morning. Okay? And we've read the Tully report. It's in the first Bederow letter. She texts Krusty, hey, they just left. Krusty responds, we don't see it. And she goes, it depends on your definition of good. Sorry, I know the anticipation is killing you. So Krusty's all excited. Well, was it good? Or was he going you guys going to get him? And then she has no response. Krusty says something, and the fake victim goes, yeah, no bueno on that front. Like, no good. AKA, seems like there, Krusty said something like, are they going to be able to arrest him? Are they going to be able to do this? Something. Some idea that they came up with together. And she goes, no bueno on that front. And then she responds. And then fake victim says, I know Mello told me yesterday not to worry about anything, but I was told something entirely different today. I will explain when I call. And I know what that was. Mello told her, you're all set. We got to keep you a secret. He'll never know you're doing this. Everything's fine. We'll keep it on the down low. Tully tells her, no, I'm getting your phone. That is why she called me on December 22nd. Tully visits her, and she called me, and I knew something. Like when she told me Tully visited her with a summons, I'm like, how the fuck does she know Tully? How does Tully know she is? And she tried blaming it on Lauren Murray first and Grace. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. And then I started confronting her about some of the Jane tweets and some of Krusty Panties tweets. Krusty Panties has been tweeting things that were very personal that I had told the fake victim, that I had only told the fake victim. And I'm like, how the fuck did Krusty know this? And some of it was like hurtful shit, like personal shit. And like, so she's tweeting about that. And so I confront her about it on December 22nd. Like there's a whole back and forth messages, and I confront her about it. And I'm like, I tell her, I know that she's talking to Krusty. And finally at around 1 o'clock in the morning on December 22nd, she just says, I'm sorry. And I said, do you want to talk? And she said, yes. And we got on the phone and we talked for about an hour and a half to like 2:30 in the morning. And she told me everything. She confessed it all. Everything I've read in these messages, she confessed to me. And she said that she was sorry and she was in a bind. And she was just like, I was so mad and I just wanted to get revenge on you. And I got in too deep and I'm sorry. And I'm like, do you feel like, I asked her if she felt like she had like split personalities. I'm like, because she could be nice sometimes. And then like, it was just this evil side. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And she said that she was really worried about Tully getting her phone because God knows what's on her phone. And I said, well, he can't just take your phone. And she goes, he told me I can't get a lawyer. And I said, what? This is the United States of America. Anyone can get a lawyer. And I told her that I would help her get a lawyer if she needed a lawyer. And despite the fact that she had betrayed me, I was still willing to, I wasn't going to state her or anything like that, but I was still willing, because if she's been talking to these dirty cops and Krusty and is willing to, explain to the FBI perhaps what they've been doing, then that's something I'm interested in. And so she played it masterfully. She was crying. The whole thing was a setup. The whole thing was a setup because we have her phone extraction and she's crying to me 2:30 and the conversation ends with basically like, I want to show you my entire phone, but I don't feel comfortable sending screenshots because I don't know if they're, and it seemed legitimate because it was like, well, these people are shady. They're probably tracking my phone. Who knows? That's why I went over there. Because she wanted to show me everything in person, she said. I just feel more comfortable in person. And on December 23rd, now that we have the phone data extraction, she was on the phone the entire day with Mello, with Tully, with Krusty. And I was planning on going over that night. And the whole time they were talking and plotting. And I thought it was odd when I got over there. Because I agreed to meet in a common area. I didn't want to go in her apartment because I thought it might be bugged. I'm like, Tully's been in this apartment. I ain't going in there. Nope. I don't trust the motherfucker. So we met in a common area. And she was being shady. She would not show me her phone, which was the whole purpose of me being there. And I'm like, okay, well. And then she went in the bathroom in the common area and for a while. And I started knocking on the door. And we've seen in the report, she started texting Tully and Krusty and calling them. The whole time I was there, she was in communication with them. At one point when I was talking to her, I had no idea that she had called, I was being wiretapped, essentially. Not essentially, I was being wiretapped. She called Tully. She called Mello, who three-wayed Tully in. Somehow he knows how to do that. And they attempted to listen to our conversation together. The whole thing was a setup. And I thought it was odd because while I was in the waiting, the common area, her son kept calling her phone. The phone just kept blowing, and her son never called her. You know what I mean? Like, just wanted to play video games, do whatever. Like, never. You could leave that kid alone. He was fine. And he just he called 7 or 8 times. And now I see what it was. Because she's like, I have to go back in there. My son needs me. She got her son. She told her son to call her and say that I got to come in there. And then I'll have to come in the apartment. And the second that I walked into that apartment, I was going to jail. Like I look back, I've replayed this a million times in my head. And there's no way I wasn't going to jail. Because the second I stepped in that apartment, it was my word against hers. And the plan that they had been working on for weeks was completed. It was over. The plan was to get him in the apartment alone and tell him, let him go through the phone together, hook up with him, and then just say the next day, I hit him. Like that's basically that's all they did. That was the entire fucking plan. And I know it was the plan because on December 13th, there's an email that I've shown before. She emailed the Brockton Enterprise. And on December 13th, this is a couple days after we ended and 11 days before I'm charged with assault and battery. She emails on December 13th, the Brockton Enterprise, because the Brockton Enterprise had written a story about her graduating from nursing school 6 years prior. And when you Google her name, when I Googled her name, that was the first article that came up. And so she emails them and said, can you please take this story down about me? I am in the middle of a domestic violence situation, and I don't want people to be able to find out information about me. Okay. I don't want my abuser to find out information about me. That's what she said in the email to the Brockton Enterprise on December 13th. Except there's just a problem with that. She hadn't accused me of domestic violence on December 13th, had she? That comes 11 days later. She knew this on December 13th, that she was going to accuse me of domestic violence. And that when that happened, I would put her name out there. I would say, no, I didn't do this. And I would say, this person is lying. And I would say her name. And you all, and she knows I have a big audience, and then you all would Google her name and that article would come up. So she emailed the newspaper preemptively, knowing that she was going to falsely accuse me of domestic violence. The newspaper ignored her, luckily, so the article is still up there. But that was the plan. She also emailed, she had commented on her grandmother's obituary, and she emails them, and they end up taking the obituary down for her grandmother because it came up when you Google her name. Her comment came up on there. There was just like a lot of shit that she got taken down from the internet. But that one article, they didn't do it. It was fucking crazy, man. Like, you're reading this extraction, you're like, holy shit. Holy shit, man. I lost 60 days of my life for this shit. Like crazy, right? So I know Mr. Mello. I know Mello told me yesterday, but I'll explain when I call. At 4:24, she calls Miss Peter. They speak on the phone for 2 hours and 32 minutes. And we're almost done here. December 15th, the fake victim texts Krusty. And again, Krusty has no responses here. What did Jen McCabe and everyone think of my meeting yesterday? Why is Brian Tully talking to Jennifer McCabe about his interview with the fake victim? Why? Why? Because they're friends. because this is not a professional relationship between Jennifer McCabe and Brian Tully and Jennifer McCabe and Michael Proctor and Jennifer McCabe and 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃. They are friends. They're in on this together. They're buddies. They're covering for each other. So Tully is immediately feeding Jennifer McCabe information because she goes, what did Jennifer McCabe think of my meeting with Tully yesterday? Krusty doesn't respond. That's probably a really juicy response. Don't you think? Don't you think? And who had control of fake victim's cell phone? Guarino and Tully. Those two did. And, you know, he didn't delete any of the emails with the teacher and all this other her medical records. I don't want to read any of that. We got all that, and I don't want to read any of it. That's not interesting at all. But as soon as they start talking about Tully, as soon as he becomes the topic, the messages disappear. So she asks Krusty, what did Jen McCabe think about my meeting with Tully? Krusty says something that's obviously interesting because her response is, oh my God, really? Exclamation point, question mark. Then she goes, did they comment about anything specific or just in general about Karen's case? And we don't see Krusty's response. And then she says, shit, LOL. Is Tully going to get mad that I told people that? That she told people what? Where are Krusty's messages? Tully deleted these manually. Tully deleted evidence in the phone that pertains to him being a criminal. Yeah, good point. Then she just goes, oh, okay. Okay, what? What is okay? And then she says, hours later, after Krusty says something, would he even buy that? Would Tully buy what? You don't buy, you buy a lie. That's what you buy. You buy a fake story. What is the fake story that they're wondering if Tully will buy? What is that story? What will Tully buy? What is Tully's next steps? Did he talk to Mello yet? Basically, when do I get to put Aidan in jail for breaking up with me as punishment? That's all she's concerned about. How dare he break up with me? He must go to jail now. Because I broke up on December 9th. That was the end. I wouldn't go over again that night. I'm like, I'm not doing it. She contacted Leah Genduso on December 9th. She contacted 𝗵𝗏𝗄𝗏 on December 10th. She contacted Ken Mello December 11th. She contacted Brian Tully December 13th. Boom, 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 boom. It's all on the phone. And this is why she didn't want to hand the phone over, because the phone is a treasured. And if you think her phone is good, just imagine what's in Krusty's phone. Just imagine. If I were her, I would be shitting my pants. She's probably not, because she's arrogant and has no idea how the law works. But she should read up on Lampron. She should read up on Lampron and how Rule 17s work. Because this, I mean, we say right in the letter, we want her phone. It's discoverable. And then fake victim writes on Facebook that day, big news coming soon. Stay tuned. She writes, she was messaging with Janelle Webb. Janelle Webb's the only person in my circle that she was still somewhat in contact, that she still trusted for some reason. Janelle was giving me everything. And, you know, she's telling him, I am going to fuck him over so bad. It gets worse. It gets worse. As inconceivable as it seems, according to the extraction report of Ms. Catani's phone, Ms. Peter did not respond to any of Ms. Catani's messages above, even though some clearly are responsive to Ms. Peter. It is particularly concerning that the messages missing from the report prepared by the state police are messages from their own source, Krusty, containing information from and about Ms. Ksatani, Mr. Mello, D.L. Tully, and Jennifer McCabe. Finally, it should be noted that Miss Peter has displayed some of her messages with Miss Gatani that do not appear on the extraction report from Miss Gatani's phone and on her own shows. On October 3rd, 2024, Miss Peter posted some of the missing messages on her Twitter account. She was trying to prove, this fucking moron was trying to prove by posting screenshots of her messages with the fake victim that I'm like a stalker or something like that, that I'm upset. She's trying to spin a narrative, a false narrative like she always does, but she fucked up. She posted messages from December 18th between her and the fake victim. And the problem with that is we don't have any messages from Krusty to the fake victim after December 14th. But they would have probably said, had she not done that, they would have probably said, well, you can't prove that maybe fake victim's just talking to herself here. Maybe she's just crazy like that. She's a little loopy. She's a little nuts. Maybe you can't prove that Krusty said anything back. But now we can. Because Krusty posted the evidence herself on Twitter and on YouTube because she is obsessed with me. And she can't stop. She can't stop. It's her undoing. Accordingly, because Miss Peter is a source closely associated with the state police and Commonwealth, she possesses the requested evidence, which is relevant, favorable to defense, and within your possession, custody, and control. Such evidence in any form should be promptly disclosed to the defense, a.k.a. give us Krusty's phone now. We want it all. We want every Discord message. We want every Twitter message. We want every single message she has ever written, ever. All of it. Just give it to us. So now that's what the purpose of this letter is, right? And it says, given the December 17th, 2024 trial date on the district court case matter for violating the restraining order, we would appreciate a prompt response. So we're going to need that phone soon. So we may pursue other remedies before trial if you don't disclose this as we demand. So either you're going to give us the phone or we're going to take action to get the phone. That's what that says right there. Easy way and a hard way. So, and, I would read up on the Lampron decision because we learned all about Rule 17 motions in the Karen retrial, did we not? Right? And we saw that. Why couldn't Karen Reed get Brian Albert's phone? Well, for one, it was Auntie Bev. But even Auntie Bev couldn't deny this one. They said it was a fishing expedition. Lampron says it can't be a fishing expedition. So they had Karen Reed suspected something shady was in Brian Albert's phone, but couldn't prove it. Well, we don't suspect anything. We know. We have the other end of the phone. We have the fake victim's end of the phone. We have the messages. We know it's shady. We need it all of it. And we need it in preparation for the December 17th trial because you idiots charged me with another stupid charge that's not going to go anywhere. But as a result of that stupid charge, it now opens up discovery to get Krusty Panties' phone. So thank you for that one. That was smart. That worked out well. We'll see how that goes. But they're way smarter. They're way smarter. So don't poke the turtle is right, Jody. Don't poke. And don't poke Bederow either. It's like, this is it. Time to fuck. It's time to fuck. It's time for phone time. They got my phone. We're going to get phones too. We can do that too. We're going to get Mello's phone. We're going to get all the phones. All right. And, we like the judge in Dedham District Court. He's good. All right. Let me read some turtle chats here. Sorry, long show tonight. First up, we got A-Rod sends $10 and goes, do you think Tully is also being investigated with all the fraud in your case? Don't forget Tully got your bank records, Mr. Reed's, and John Silvera's. What judge signed that fake warrant? That's a really good question. What judge signed this? Might have been Krupp, as a matter of fact. Krupp signed the one for Karen Reed's phone. There's 𝗬𝗂𝗍 signed one. I don't even know. These judges just signed warrants. That's why during the retrial, when 𝗕𝗏 and Gallagher was like, we didn't apply for a warrant because there was no probable cause. Bitch, these judges sign any fucking warrant. That's one thing I've learned. They will sign any warrant. I've never heard of a judge denying a warrant to the police. They will sign anything. If you're like, we think that there's evidence in there or something, sign me up. As long as the police are the ones asking for it. If you or I ask for it, they're going to be like fishing expedition, but the police do it. Yeah, sure. Search his whole house, take his cars and shit. Like, that's how they do. That's how they do. But do I think he's being investigated? I hope so. As Tim Bradl announced on December 26th, the day I went to jail in open court, he spoke with the FBI at length that day. We have FBI we are talking to the FBI, and I'm sure that they're well aware of this, especially because it's the same fucking cops over and over again. Sandra Birchmore, Karen Reed, Turtleboy. Same shit. A-Rod also sends $10. Goes, Karen Reed got her phone seized in January from lies that the fake victim plotted with 𝗕𝗏. The fake victim said that she saw messages of Karen Reed demanding you to intimidate witnesses. What corrupt judge signed the approval of that warrant? That was Krupp. I know that is a fact. And she told 𝗕𝗏 that Karen Reed controls me or something like that. No, she's a fucking idiot. She's a liar, but she's also an idiot. The phone, actually, I told her I talked to Karen. That was hardly a secret. And I told her that I'm like, that some stuff is off the record and some stuff is on the record. So like, for instance, I'm like, the 911 call. I had that for a long time. And I told her, I'm like, I got the 911 call. It's fucking amazing. Listen to this shit. I played it for her. I didn't send it to her, but I like play in person. I'm like, listen to this shit. Oh my God, Jennifer McCabe's so fucking shady, huh? I'm like, I can't share it. Karen says no bueno. Because it's off the record. If Karen Reed is a source and she gives me information off the record, I can't publish it, right? If she gives me something on, that's standard journalistic practice, but she's not a journalist, so she doesn't know this. And so she tells 𝗕𝗏, oh, Karen controls the content and tells him what he's allowed to publish and what she isn't allowed to publish. It's not as scandalous as they make it sound. Okay. So there's that. I mean, and what else did she say in those messages? That demanding that I intimidate witnesses, completely untrue. She didn't. I don't know if she said that. She said that we talked on Signal. When they get my phone and they get Karen's phone, they will find a grand total of 0 text messages with Karen Reed. I have never text messaged Karen Reed. I spoke on the phone with her 189 times, apparently, but who's counting, without a single text message, not one. So they won't be able to find anything because we use Signal. And like, oh, that's used by drug dealers. No, it's used by people who don't want Big Brother reading their shit. And it was justified, I think, by all this behavior completely. So thank you there. Tanya sends $5. Goes, thank you for everything you do. Wondering if I will get charges for sending ducks from Utah. Free Karen Reed, Turtleboy, and Kearney. And that's a good question. If like the out-of-staters will get, because they're really only going after massholes, They use Signal now from the FBI. Okay, interesting. Yeah, they couldn't find the 32,000 messages. They could. They just didn't want to. Elizabeth sends $10. Goes, from Betty, Aidan, you do great work for Karen and wish you all the best in court. Ignore Krusty. I wish I could ignore Krusty, but I went to jail because of Krusty. Like, let's keep it real. Like, she actually, like, this was all her. She's using all these people. She's using Brian Tully. She's using Ken Mello. She's using the 𝗥𝗏𝗆𝗺𝗏s. She's using the fake victim. They're all using each other, but she's using Paul O'Keefe more than anyone, and is just using the fuck out of these people. So I wish I could ignore that, but it is what it is. Cynthia sends $50. Thank you, Cynthia, and goes, keep fighting the good fight. I will do, Cynthia. I appreciate that. Bill sends $10. Goes, Unc, did you see Leah has a GoFundMe? She was attacked by a dog. Surprised the dog wasn't named Karma. That's from years ago. That's from when I was friendly with Leah. When she got, that's why we call her Chew Toy with tits. Except not big ones. And yeah, and she had no fucking clue. She was always getting chewed up by the dogs. Always. Because she didn't know how to, she's not good with dogs. Like she thinks she's like some dog whisperer, but she's actually really bad with dogs. So there's that. Blower of whistles sends $25. Says much respect to you for protecting sources and having the self-discipline to be strategic for the overall best in your situation. I know, for real. Like I've held all this in, all this shit. I've known about this stuff for months and I haven't said a word. As a journalist, I know it's hard. Listen to the killer bees. They won't quit. This will be your legacy. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. And I do listen to them. You know, it's like if I get this on the public record, I'm going to publicly, this is going to be out there, the letter now. Anyone can read it at your own perusal. I'll share it after this. It'll be out there. Chris sends $10 and goes, could you please look into a friend's death, Malcolm Burns, who was shot by Northwood, New Hampshire police in his home in front of his family. I'll check it out, Chris. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Diana sends $10 goes, can you do a Ratchet of the Week where you do a random Ratchet review? I miss Ratchets. Also, what's going on with Ratchet Madness? Fuck, I got to do Ratchet Madness. I always, Saturday. We'll do an announcement Saturday. How about that? Also, we used to do a Ratchet of the Week. It was called Food Stamp Friday. And every week I'd find somebody selling their food stamps on Facebook and do a little blog on them. But I've evolved. Thank you. Candace sends $10. Goes, hey, Dr. Texas Turtle here. Looking handsome as usual. Oh, thank you. I cannot wait for you to not only expose the filth that conspired against you, but to get the justice you're due. Always here supporting you. Well, thank you, Candace. I appreciate the kind words. Leona sends $10. Goes, did we already read that one? Thank you for everything you do. You are the best. I appreciate that, Leona. April sends $10 and goes, need a good laugh tonight? Can't we call Gianetti on the live tonight? Like the good. Oh, no, we already read that one. Okay, cool. Let me read some cash apps here. The Rogue Townie sends $20 and goes, I'm so sorry. This is egregious. Keep being you. Thank you, Rogue Townie. I appreciate that. It is egregious. Chad sends $5 and goes, are the actions of the aforementioned criminal? Don't know what that means. Thank you very much, Chad. Jeffrey sends $10 and goes, Krusty catches charges for setting you up. You know, I'm not convinced that anything she did there was necessarily illegal. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's if anyone did anything illegal or unethical, it's the police for not disclosing this shit, for deleting evidence, you know? I mean, she's just an idiot. But again, if they want to get in bed with her, and then they can own her, and they can own all the things she says, including her use of the word faggot. That's going to play real well in front of the Massachusetts, liberal appointed judge, isn't it? Neil sends $25, goes, I don't know how you don't lose your mind. Some days are tougher than others, Neil. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Lorena sends $10 and goes, free Doc, free Karen Reed. Thank you very much, Lorena. You're the best. We love you. Beverly sends $20 and goes, go Chiefs. Love your show. You know, we used to be like the Chiefs. I remember, I have to tell my kids now that used to be us, you know. We used to win Super Bowls like all the time. But let's put it this way. Patrick Mahomes never got by Tom Brady. No matter how many Super Bowls Patrick Mahomes wins, he never beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. He's 0-1 against him at home. But I'm happy that you're happy. Oh, glad you like your football team there, Beverly. It's cool when you win all the time, isn't it? So good job. Matthew sends $2 and says, my mom, Jen, loves you. Well, moms are wild about me. I don't know why, but so thank you very much, Matthew. I appreciate that. And tell your mom, Jen, I said hello. Leah sends $5 and goes, Georgia loves Turtleboy and Karen Reed. Well, thank you very much. And Turtleboy loves the Peach State. I like the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, I think, are my team this year, to be perfectly honest, because that's a good part about the Patriots sucking, is you could root for another team too. Like, obviously I'm going to root for the Patriots every week, but like, they ain't going to win shit. So I got to root for someone to win a Super Bowl. And I think Atlanta's going to be my team this year because, you know, I've my former student, Chris Lindstrom, plays right guard for the Falcons. He's one of the top 100 players in the NFL, they say. And I think the Falcons are just an exciting team. I've always liked Kirk Cousins. I always thought he was like he's like on the cusp of being just good enough to win a Super Bowl, like not a superstar, but like not flashes of brilliance at times. Just always fucks up right at the last moment. Like, you know, several steps above Carson Wentz, basically. And, you know, they got Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and now they got Judon on defense, and they still got Grady Jarrett, and they got AJ Terrell, and they got a nice, interesting team there in Atlanta. So I think I'm going to go Falcons this year. That's my team. All right. Anyway, and I feel bad for them. 28-3. Like we needed that. I mean, that was ours. We took that, but like, you know, you're like, I wish they could. And Drake May is starting. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't play him against Miami. That seemed like a good landing spot for his debut. So we'll see how Drake May does. Sarah sends $100. Woo! Thank you, Sarah. It says, any updates on your documentary that you can share? Keep up the great work. Hopefully you get your devices back soon. Okay. Well, so I signed a doc. I signed a deal with a Boston-based company and a couple of LA producers last year. It was a 1-year deal. And if they couldn't sell the project, then I could seek greener pastures, go somewhere else. And they said they were really close, but time just ran out, basically. And I went in a different direction. And I've signed with Compelling Pictures. And because I'm really impressed by the guy there, Jeff. He's a fantastic guy. And he's willing to put his own he's investing millions of dollars into this project, basically, his own money. Because he's that sure it's a winner. And there are tons of people pitching Karen Reed documentaries right now. Tons of them. And these Netflix likes British companies. I guess that's the thing. Sandpaper is a British company. British companies are big into winning awards and stuff like that. They're very artsy. But the problem is Sandpaper, in this case, doesn't have access to some key players. They don't have access to Karen Reed because she signed a deal with another company. And I think she's gotten screwed over with that company because I did not like the woman that she's doing business with. She seemed unstable when I talked to her. And like, they asked me to interview and I said, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I'm not, because you got to make yourself exclusive. This, I won't do an interview with them. Sandpaper asked me to do an interview with them. I won't do it. Because I'm with Compelling Pictures now. And so, what we have, so all these people are trying to sell the doc, but you want access to shit that nobody else has, right? Because that's what makes it interesting. And you're trying to sell it to a streaming service, and Netflix pays the most money, right? They pay millions of dollars if they're going to buy your doc, right? Millions of dollars per episode. And, you know, the guys I was with before, they weren't investing their own money. So, because what if it doesn't sell and then they're out all that cash? Well, I'm told the Karen's people have actually, like, I talked to the woman. She has invested, I think, probably over $1 million into this. And now she hasn't sold it, from what I'm told. I don't think she sold. I haven't heard anything about that. So all that filming that you're seeing there, all that footage, you might never see that. Like, that'd be crazy, huh? Maybe she'll put it on YouTube. I don't know, fucking know. But that's that. And now, so the Sandpaper people, they don't have access to Karen Reed. They don't have access to me. And not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm the most exciting part about this fucking story. That's just the truth. The story through Turtle, you cannot tell the story of the Karen Reed trial without Turtleboy. Can't do it. Without access to me, I can't give you a single interview. What the fuck you got? You got nothing. And so Sandpaper is a foreign company that they're just like, we'll do a doc on this and we'll figure out the details later. And so they Google Karen Reed case, and what's the first story that comes up? What's the first publication they find that has written an in-depth story about this? Boston Magazine. Who wrote it? Gretchen Voss. So they're like, let's make a deal with Gretchen Voss And so they signed Gretchen Voss. Gretchen Voss, I'm told, is a producer for them in this. They hitched their to say that they hitched their train to the wrong wagon is something else. They have the McAlberts, they've got Jen McCabe, they've got Brian Albert, they've got the O'Keefes. Sandpaper has deals with all of them. That's why they're so excited, right? And I'll read your turtle chat here, but I'm listening, okay? Telling the story. This is interesting. And so, but they realize now that they're fucked. Like they seem to have drunk. Gretchen is fully on board with Karen is guilty. Fully believes it. And I think based on conversations that I've heard, that I've had, that Sandpaper is having some regret about getting in bed with Gretchen Voss. And so our plan, we're in touch with Sandpaper. We're willing to potentially work with them if we have editorial control. That's the deal. Like it's like our way or the highway. You don't get Turtleboy. And you know who else we got? This fucking guy. We also have a deal with Richie for microdots. We get all the like Sandpaper, like Compelling Pictures put their money where their mouth is. They signed deals. Like we actually get paid. And all Richie's content, he's got some of the best video footage because he's been following me around this entire fucking time. And a lot of it's unaired. You haven't seen it yet. No one else can use that footage except for Compelling Pictures. So Compelling Pictures is holding all the cards. They have access to Turtleboy. They have access to all of Richie's footage and microdots and all of my footage. And I've gotten them access to some other people that they couldn't have access to. Like, I don't know. What if I had access to jurors? What if I had access to attorneys? What if I had access to, who else do I have access to that would make this a much more interesting documentary than a documentary that revolves around Jennifer McCabe and Gretchen Voss? That sounds like a shitty documentary. And I think they finally started to realize that, fuck, we're not from here. We put our eggs in the wrong basket. So now it's like we're holding all the cards. We're holding all the cards. So if you don't want to work with us and give us editorial control, that's fine. Netflix reserves the right to buy your ass out and sign with somebody else. Greener pastures. Because Netflix at the end of the day is interested in making money. And you're not going to make money off of a pro McAlbert documentary. No one wants to watch that shit. Nobody wants to watch a documentary in which Turtleboy is the villain and Jennifer McCabe is the hero. That's how you lose shit tons of money. If you want to burn money, go ahead, take that angle. And I think they're starting to learn that. Like, fuck, we made a really bad business decision here. So it's not too late. So we'll see what happens with that because Compelling Pictures also has the rights to the motion picture for me. And that's how we're doing this. Documentary, motion picture. That's how we go. So there's that. Yeah, exactly. And that's what exactly, Richie. This is what I'm saying. Like, and maybe it's been communicated with Sandpaper. Maybe. I don't know anything about this though. That they need to, if they trust Jennifer McCabe, which it appears they do, if they trust her honesty, they should think for a minute. Am I willing to risk my entire professional reputation on the honesty and truthfulness of Jennifer McCabe? Because what happens if they make a pro McAlbert documentary and a week after it's released, Jennifer McCabe is arrested and they just released a documentary that is sympathetic to Jennifer McCabe, in which she cries about being the victim of relentless harassment? What happens then? They need to think about that. Imagine that would be like, that would be the biggest epic fail of all time. That would be like after trial 4, if Sean Ellis went out and got released and then he raped 5 people. And shot up a block. It would be like that. Like, come on. It'd be like making a murder if Stephen Avery got out and then he just fucking got out and he just starts fucking murdering motherfuckers. Like it would be like that. Like you're gonna make the so that and honestly, the sandpaper people until recently hadn't thought about that because they've only spoken to Gretchen and the McAlberts, and they were kind of under the impression that I'm the bad guy because they're not around here. If you live around here, you know that I'm not the bad guy. I'm actually the good guy. I'm extremely popular, and I'm not bragging. I'm saying that. Go out with me sometime. Go out to dinner with me. Go anywhere. Go to a Patriots game. I will be, hundreds of people will ask to take a picture of me. I'm not bragging. I'm not sucking my own dick here. I'm telling you about what my life experience is like when I go out in public now. I'm not a villain. Ask what happens to 𝗵𝗂𝗧𝗏 when he goes to football games. Oh, right. He leaves in shame. That's what happens to the people that sandpaper thinks are the good guys. They leave in shame. They have Brian Albert, when he goes to his son's football game at Bridgewater, has to fucking literally duck his head down. That's what they have to do. Now, I don't have to do that. Everybody likes me. So there's that. And sandpaper doesn't understand that because they're not from around here, but they do like money, though. So that's something that they're going to have to think about. Thank you. Darcy sends $10 and goes, just love and support from Iowa. Some Hawkeyes. Thank you very much, Darcy. And Brenda sends $5, goes, can you possibly get Jen McCabe's phone number now? I will definitely not be doing that, considering the charges that are currently pending against me. So thank you very much. Sage sends $5, says, I would pay money to organize your computer files for you. Okay. Kelly sends $5 and goes, I bet Krusty's phone ends up in pieces in a dumpster in a military base tonight. I know, right? Desiree sends $25 and goes, who's intimidating whom? The whole thing keeps getting more absurd, especially the lack of awareness. Why is the Commonwealth willing to let an alleged murderers walk to pursue you and Karen Reed? Because they're dirty. Because they're dirty. Because they're criminals. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. Before I forget, right? So there's this trial Tuesday, and Tim Bradl's representing everyone. Tim Bradl's now representing two of the Ducky Bandits. He's got all of them. He's representing this guy, Tony Raymond. You guys know who Tony is? Tony is a provocateur of I guess he's like he runs a political page in Everett, and he doesn't like the mayor there. The mayor is named this guy's the biggest greaseball ever, Demaria or something. I wrote about him a lot during COVID. He was one of the COVID tyrants. Fucking hate this guy. Anyway, he shared a couple memes, and I want to show you this, and he is being criminally charged for this. Hold on, I want to show this to you. All right, check this out. No, not Tony Fed. His name's Tony Raymond. So this is a meme he shared. He shares memes. And I guess he had the names of like 3. He's being sued for defamation or something by like some corrupt city officials. He's like, he's a political guy. It's politics. And he shared this thing on TikTok, I guess, and it had the names of the 3 guys in the background there. Like, watch this video.
Shout it up for hip hop, it don't stop. Shout it up for hip hop, it don't stop. Shout it up for hip hop, it don't stop. Shout it up for hip hop.
So like those 3 guys, it's Tony Two Trays. He's he's like a plus size dude, and so he calls himself Tony Two Trays because he needs 2 trays of food to eat. And so what you just this is Tony Two Trays. Let's see. There it is. He lives in this is in He lives in Everett, but the courthouse is the one in Malden or Medford, whatever. It's right on the line. Anyway, he shared a bunch of memes like that, and he was charged with felony witness intimidation, like I was. Like everybody's getting this charge, and that meme, right? Like that's not a felony. Sharing a fucking meme is not a felony. So it's somewhat related to me. It's just like it's different. You know what I did is different. But it's just like these weak beta males who are just like, I'm having emotional harm and I'm scared from that meme he shared. He's threatening to hurt me. Bitch, it's a fucking meme. Shut up. You can't get hurt by a meme. And if we let stuff like this happen, we don't have a country anymore. So he's kind of like the test, the guinea pig, I guess. We're going to see what happens Thursday. It's going to be like a dry run for my shit. So his case did start before mine. And so he has a trial coming up on Thursday for this alleged quote unquote witness intimidation. So there's that. It's going to be interesting to see. Okay. It's getting a little bit late. I do have a couple Krusty videos I can end by showing. By the way, $5 from Sage says, I live near Stephen Avery. That family is odd. However, the documentary makes him look innocent. His property was searched for the missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu. I would be more scared around the McAlberts when they are drunk than Stephen Avery, though. That says a lot. It's a good point. It's a good point. Okay. Do I have these Krusty videos? I got some videos I could share here. Let me see. Let me know if you can hear this.
So I originally gave birth to 4 children. I had my first child in 2006 and my last one in 2011. And I only have custody of 2 of those kids now. So I made the decision in 2014 to adopt out my 2 younger kids.
Made the decision. They were taken from
in about 2012. I lost custody of all 4 of my children. It was, for a good reason. My ex-husband had been arrested. He had assaulted me. It was in the newspaper. He cold cocked me in front of a cop. Ended up in jail. And I kind of hit the ground running the next day as a single mom of 4 kids. And I was in no way capable of doing that. So I drank, and I drank excessively, and I drank to the detriment of everything around me. And finally one day I got a visit from some social workers. My house was deplorable, absolutely deplorable. I did not clean my house. So I can't stress that enough. It was disgusting at the time, and my children weren't taken care of, and they took custody of my kids. And my kids stayed in DCF custody for about a year, at which point they were actually getting ready to adopt all 4 of them out. So I reached a point in my life where I was able to turn it around.
And by the way, they don't adopt out. It's like a last resort. If they adopt out your kids, you really fucked up. She shares all this. This is like 4 years ago. This video. I got some more clips. And this is a woman who sits around judging others all day on the internet. Just remember, this is who we're dealing with.
Feel fully vindicated. I don't even know how to put it into words, how this feels. I've been waiting for a moment like this where it's like vindication, and I don't even feel fully vindicated. I just feel sad.
Oh, this is the day that Legion Duso gave her the videos of me. Okay. And she was so happy that she cried. And because she's like going to start sharing them. And she does a rant here about how she's worried about my kids. Listen to this.
For everybody involved, I just feel sad. I feel sad for my children that have suffered so much
From her.
And I feel sad for his children. I feel sad for his wife. And I guess I feel sad for him too, because I've been in so many dark places. I can understand. That's all.
Can you just Watch this.
What's up, K baby?
What's up?
Like what? Like this person is just devoid of human emotions. Just devoid of them. Like that is the fakest cry ever. Like she said she's worried about my kids because she's the one, she's going to share revenge porn of me. And that she's worried about how my kids will be affected by that. Or she could just not share it.
Because some of Aidan's actions right now, without going into too much detail, are going over into territory where he may be finding himself on the inside of a jail cell pretty soon.
Oh,
because
she's been doing this for years.
himself. He can't.
Okay, what's this one?
Oh, I'm right. Thank you, Aidan. I will say this much. Thank you. I wasn't very invested in writing or in my website until I realized that was the best medium to get out all this information on you. Because of you, I rebuilt my website. Because of you, I found my fucking voice again. Because of you, I'm writing again. So thank you very much for that. Because I will continue to write these blogs exposing everything that I find that you do in the dark. I will drag it to the light until the work is done and you are reduced to exactly what you are in real life, which is a sniveling little fucking has-been worm.
Like, talk about obsessed. This like obsessed. This is Krusty. Yeah, if you guys don't know, these are some of Krusty's greatest hits.
Like, this is not going to stop because this is not about. There's nothing you can do to me. There is nothing you can. My children don't even fear you anymore. My children don't even fucking fear you anymore. This is not about us anymore. This is about everybody that you are harming.
Let her go. Shut up.
Okay. Everybody I'm harming. I like I'm this villain. What's this one?
Hearing today or hearing on Tuesday, KP. It's actually a clerk magistrate's hearing. I have been charged with nothing, Lauren De Laguna, and reading the police report that the police did not establish probable cause for. I'm not terribly concerned. And honestly, if I take a minor criminal charge because I upset Aidan Kearney and one of his crying whores, I will live with that.
So this is when she was had a criminal complaint hearing for stalking Lauren Murray, who she called a crying whore, and she guaranteed she wouldn't be charged. She was charged. She got charged. So don't get your legal advice from Krusty. Doesn't work out. What's this one?
Any harassment on our records? I mean, neither one of us have any harassment on our records.
Oh, you do?
I mean, my criminal record is negligible.
Negligible? Is that a word? Negligible?
Decision that I would adopt my kids out. And I know that's really getting, I'm sorry. I know that's getting thrown back at me now. But I had to do it. And it wasn't an easy decision. And it wasn't a decision that I'm proud of. And it's not a decision that came, without a lot of regret and thought and heartache with it. But it was what was right for them. And
if what was right for the kids was being away from you, then that means that you are a massive failure. And just imagine this person sits there all day and judges other people about their parenting. She came down to the Karen Reed protest like a bat out of hell with that megaphone saying, shame on you for bringing your kids here. Bitch, at least they got their kids. At least they got their kids. You gave them away.
I can't even say that if I had to go back and do it again that I would, because I would not want to be in that position. But it's what happened, and it was what was right for my children. So I understand that I'm
other person's children.
Of all 4 of my children back. However, I could have gotten custody of all 4 of my children back. However, my kids all had really high psychological needs because of the trauma, the neglect. And
okay. So she was gonna get her kids back, but they had she's sharing this on the internet with strangers, by the way. Just imagine sharing this about your kids with strangers. She's sitting there talking about, my kids have trauma because of the neglect and horror that they experienced living with me. And meanwhile, I'm going to sit here and judge other people.
And the domestic violence and separation and a long period of time that they were in DCF custody. So I'm looking at these 4 little kids, and my older 2 were bonded to me more than my younger 2 were. And they were going to need some intensive services for an indefinite amount of time. And then I had these 2 younger kids who were placed together in a foster home, which was really, really fortunate for us. And they had been in this foster home for probably half of their lives at this point.
Okay.
And it came to a point to where I had to make the decision what was right for them. And it didn't seem responsible or fair for me to disrupt these two little boys who were settled into a life with these parents who loved them so much and who otherwise couldn't be parents, to bring them back into a situation where I didn't even know if I could handle it with everything that was going to be demanded of me. So in 2014, I did make the decision that I would adopt my kids out.
So she just gave away 2 kids because they're in they barely knew me anyway. That's basically what she's saying there. They spent most of their lives there. And you know what? The foster parents were really nice and they couldn't have kids. So I had a couple of spare ones lying around. Why don't you just keep the younger 2? I'll keep the older 2 because I've known them longer. And the younger 2, you could take them. I'll sign them away. In reality, they told her that if you don't sign away the younger 2, we're going to take the older 2 as well. So this is not a deal. Like, this is not an option. She didn't have a fucking option. And those younger 2, oh my God, their life is so much better than the other ones because of that decision.
And I know that.
Oh, this is her daughter. Okay. So now last year, her daughter messaged me all these threats and horrible things about her kids. And we had a restraining order hearing that I win. And at the hearing, the daughter has to read off all the messages she said about my kids. Now, at this point, Kate made her miss school to do this. This is during a school day. And at this point, any responsible mother goes, actually, this has gone too far. I'm not going to subject my 16-year-old to humiliate herself like this in court by reading off these offensive messages, which are going to show what a shitty parent I am at the end of the day. But Kate makes her read them. Here we go.
I have to read the whole thing.
I'm
going to ask you to read the highlighted portion.
have to read the whole thing?
Do I have to read this? You do. I'll make your kids want to fucking kill themselves from embarrassment.
She goes, I have to read this? I have to read my own words? Krusty goes, you do. I'll make your kids want to fucking kill themselves out of embarrassment. The kids are 5 and 7. And this is what this child sends me. This 16-year-old child sends me.
Miss Kelly, I'm going to ask you to read that highlighted portion for His Honor. I'm not my mother. I'm more heartless. I'll send your kids your dick pics.
Oh, I am not my mother. I am more heartless. I will send your kids your dick pics. She is threatening to send pornographic images of me, which somehow this 16-year-old possesses, which Krusty, she probably got from her mother, and send them to a 5 and 7-year-old. This is what Krusty's child did. Krusty knew that her child would have to read these messages in court, and she still made her child do this in court. Made her do this. All so that she could use the child in an attempt to get an order against me so that I would eventually get arrested because she has the child. She spoofs my number to the child. Like, this is fucking crazy. And this is my life with this lunatic. It gets better. We're going to be a bit.
Kelly, I'm going to ask you to read that highlighted portion. After I read this, can I say something about this?
You'll have an opportunity to testify, yeah.
Let me call. And let me call means you wanted to call Mr. Kearney, correct? Oh, don't worry. I have messages of him asking me to call into the show before that message. When you said let me call, you wanted to contact Mr. Kearney. After he asked me to.
No, I did not send Krusty.
At no point. Where you tell me where a crop screenshot, man? Because I have my phone with me. It's in the messages. Show me where he asked you to call him. That's fine. Can I log in on your phone? My phone's on one.
And then the phone's not charged.
I've seen the messages. I can attest that he was asking her to call. I'll try to pull it up before my phone
You guys, I've seen this. This is abuse.
Wait a minute, we're going to do this one thing at a time. You've already testified. Now counsel is examining your daughter. Pardon me?
My phone just died.
What a disaster. This is 𝗏𝗏𝗺𝗏. This judge was great.
I have to read the whole thing.
Judge Mazzy.
I'm going to ask you to read the highlighted portion for His Honor. Do I have to read this? You do. I'll make your kids want to fucking kill themselves.
All right.
I believe that at one point he played a recording where one of his associates was actually in court today because I know that he did for Bradl. For the past 3 years, he has been posting rumors online alleging that my daughter was molested by her younger brother. At the time that he alleges this occurred, they would have been 6 and 3 years old. It simply did not happen. He has reposted these allegations, which actually.
Oh my gosh! So I got a hold of some of her DCF reports, and she denied that the DCF reports were real. The DCF reports were horrific. Horrific. These kids had to be separated in a foster home. Like, it was fucking horrible. And, there was allegations of abuse, sexual abuse. And I've shared their reports because to show what a horrible parent Krusty is. And Krusty wants this all covered up and she hides behind the kids and says, you're attacking the kids. No one's attacking the kids. We feel horrible for the kids. We're attacking you. You're the failure. You're the one that abused these kids. Again, let's not forget, this is the person Ken Mello gave his phone number to. This is the person Brian Tully gave his personal phone number to. This is the person who John Fanning testified that he gets his information from for criminal investigations. This person. Own it. Own it. You get the whole thing.
Some documentation from a Department of Children and Family Service plan unrelated to sexual abuse that is in fact legitimate. We're not sure how he got it.
So she admits the DCF reports are legitimate. There, good.
Probably the closest to fighting words I have heard in this hearing were uttered by the plaintiff, not the defendant. So this isn't even close. This order expires today at 4 o'clock.
Is that not the best? The judge goes, this one's not even close. If anything, the plaintiff is the aggressor. So I win that one. So don't get your legal advice from Krusty. This is like the fake victim was so consumed with her hatred for me that she got bamboozled by this con artist who told her we're going to get him. We're going to get him in the legal life. Blah, 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 blah. She might have some buyer's regret now. She might. I don't think it worked out the way she planned.
Good luck to you all.
Who is this?
Oh, so no. Wait, what's that? That is, hold on. What's this one?
Stop my name. I get it. Okay, but I know how much comes up on my name, and that bothers me to a certain extent, just because my daughter and I were talking about all this. Because I'll be straightforward with everybody here. When I first got this information, I went to my children.
So this is when she got, but the information, she means that Leah Genduso gave her a video of me of revenge porn. Okay, and what does she do with this revenge porn that she got from Leah Genduso? She goes to her 12 and 5-year-old children and discusses it. Here's what she discusses with them.
And I were talking about all this because I'll be straightforward with everybody here. When I first got this information, I went to my children who are 12 and 15. They're not little kids or whatever. And I said, I have some really incriminating information on Aidan. They obviously know who he is at this point. What should I do with it?
Okay, so she tells them, I have a video of him spanking it. What should I do with this video of him spanking it? And this is what the kids tell her.
And my son said, well, if it's going to hurt his family, I wouldn't do it because you're going to look petty and hypocritical. And, it hurt us a lot. And I don't want to do that to anyone else. And
okay, so the boy has morals. And he's like, don't do it. That's horrible, Mom. Why are you asking me? I'm 12. Why are you asking me what you should do with a jerk off video of this guy on the internet? Like, why are you asking me this? And the 7-year-old, luckily the 12-year-old is more mature than her.
I said, okay, my daughter, who has been much more affected because Aidan has really focused on her and she's 15 years old, said, fucking bury him. All right. And
chip off the old block.
She did though. Yeah. And one thing that she's
chip off the old block. fucking. So that sounds like a healthy, well-adjusted child.
Said to me today when we were discussing this is she goes, if I look up Kate Peters' daughter, the first thing that comes up is all this nasty shit about me. And she's 15 years old.
It's about
she's 15 years old.
It's about
I would say, and I'm not trying to extort anyone here. I would say that an easy way to quell my rage and all this would be if maybe never mind.
Attempting to blackmail me.
It doesn't matter either way. There was one point when I really wanted everything about my daughter taken down, but the damage has been done at this point. It would be an empty victory if anything about my daughter was taken down. I can't imagine victimizing a child like that, particularly one that has had a rough upbringing.
Like she's like her child is being victimized not by her, but by me for pointing out what a horrific mother she is. That's somehow my fault.
Because I've been very forthright about that.
Okay, yeah.
Julie, if you ever hear this,
listen to this.
You better kick and scream for that.
So this is when this is the night when she thinks I'm going to jail. She thinks I'm being arrested for violating the order against her daughter, the temporary one that got thrown out a week later. And this is what she says about me parenting. Just listen to the rage here.
Julie, if you ever hear this, you better kick and scream for that mandatory parenting class or terminate his rights. There is no in between. He will fuck those kids up.
I don't think I will.
I've seen it. My parents had a divorce like that. Not half as bad as what I think Aidan would be. I don't got a narcissistic father like that. They just got some animosity, right, that they couldn't handle. He's a straight up toxic narcissist. He will use a child to hurt an adult.
I'm actually a good dad, but okay.
Yeah, Holly, I'm addressing his wife. I am not ordered not to do so. I've never harassed a woman, and I stand by it. I messaged her on Facebook once to alert her that her husband had just accidentally revealed that he was trying to sleep with another woman. At the time, I didn't know about Leah, which makes it even funnier because it means that not only was he outing himself for cheating on his wife, but cheating on his mistress, Leah Janduso, at the same time.
It's like, why do you care? Like, that's the ultimate question. How does this affect you at all? And she's contacted her many times and wants nothing to do with her. Like, trust me, she knows. Like, it's not a secret.
I could talk to his wife. I mean, quite frankly, I'm probably going to reach out to his wife tomorrow morning. And I'm going to ask her respectfully to have a conversation with her husband and have him remove all the derogatory, disgusting posts referencing my children so that we don't have to push this any further.
She does. She emails her at her school email address. And she's just like, she tells me about it. She's like, what is going on here? What is this person talking about? I'm like, it's just Krusty Panties. She's fucking insane. Just ignore her and just go on with your day. Do not engage with Krusty Panties. You will go. You don't want to go there.
Okay. Because I feel like out of the two of them, the real adult is probably his wife. And
100%.
Woman to woman, I would like these posts that upset my daughter taken down.
By the posts that upset the daughter, the posts are about Kate. She wants the posts about not to protect her daughter, to protect her, because the articles about her show what a monster she is.
Because I don't want a big knockdown. Why is he so concerned with where she is, where she lives, where she works, where she goes to school? Why is he, with a restraining order in place, calling out to her by name and saying, call me?
She said, no. What I did to her kid.
No, it's not what you do.
What?
And I'm going full force with this. Criminal, civil. I'm going after Laura Hakes and her job. You shouldn't be around children, you disgusting pig. You allow this to happen.
This is Laura from London, makes goddamn YouTube like pictures for me. Like that's does the inbox and like helps out. She's like great. Like she's a awesome like helper. Doesn't write content, is like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, lives in London. And this is what, listen to the anger in her voice when she talks about Laura.
They don't have cyberbullying laws in schools in the UK. I guess we'll find out because you engage in it. You're right there, right next to him while he does that. I'm going to find out where she works. It's not going to be hard. I'm pretty sure we already have it. And they're going to get contacted. Disgusting pig that you are, Laura.
Anger.
away.
If anybody was cyberbullying children over on my side of things, they'd be tossed right the fuck out. I still have all the secret messages, Laura. You hate Aidan too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
They're safe, they're good, their parents appreciate what a good host I am to those kids.
Oh.
Take several fucking seats. Unlike Aidan, I think that's projection because his kids are never going to have friends.
Me?
You're going to want your kids to go spend the night at Uncle Turtleboy's house? So you can groom your kids and tell them that their parents don't love them and he'll keep them safe. Just come sit on my lap.
Just imagine like you lost your fucking kids. Like the last thing I would talk about is anyone else's parenting ever. But it's all she talks about.
Yeah, I'm a sex goblin. I'm a distinguished member of the media. Sex goblin. Yeah, like come on.
I run a sex cult. Man.
His entire community hates him. You think they're going to be lining up to have their kids hang out at his house? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My kids have friends. I didn't alienate, but because he's so bitter and angry because he doesn't have any friends and his kids aren't going to grow up to have any friends, and now he's trying to take that away from my kids too. Worry about your own family, please. That's what he should have been doing this whole time. Worry about your own family.
I am.
I don't give a fuck. Like my audience is bigger. My friends are cooler. I have more of a life. I have a job.
What?
No matter what he wants to say about my kids, like I'm good with my.
Like none of that's true. She doesn't have a job. Her audience isn't bigger. No, I don't. Does she believe this?
Kids, I love them. We hang out. We have a good time. Like,
We hang out.
are we perfect? No. Are we a little trashy? Yeah. Are we happy this way? We are.
Oh,
Okay? Fuck you.
got a nice family.
Right? Like, so I don't really care what he has to say about me, but don't put that on my kid who is now struggling to attend school because of the bullying that she's receiving. And he can go, oh, okay, it's just making that up. Except I have documentation from the school that I'm going to bring to the DA's office on this criminal charge, and I'm going to bring in court to extend the order so he can never, ever contact or post about my daughter again.
The order doesn't get extended because the judge says this one's not even close.
Just leave kids out of it. It's that simple. You can't do that because you're a fucking weirdo. I think he's a pedophile. I'm going to say it out loud.
Oh.
Sue me. You were grooming my kid and you keep offering to pick her up. I think you're a pedophile. Don't come near my family. My
Well,
children.
so I said,
What the fuck? Grooming the kid? You've heard her kid speak. Nobody wants to be around that kid. That kid's horrible. Like that kid's fucking fucked. Like, because Kate, like, I don't want to be around that kid. I don't want to pick that kid up. It sounds like a horrible time.
My teenager. So people were watching it for me. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, he's doxing your address. He's doxing your kid's school. He's doxing your kid's work. He's repeating the same disgusting rumors that he was ordered by a judge to stop doing. Like, he's calling her a prostitute. Now he's addressing her by name and saying he's going to come pick her up. Like,
and by the way, she was the one who called her own kid a prostitute. One of the many times she ran away from home. She posted on Discord that she is worried that her daughter is turning tricks to make money on the streets while she's run away from home again.
What the fuck? So I'm going full force with this. Criminal, civil, going after Laura Hakes and her job. You shouldn't be around children, you disgusting pig. You allow this to happen.
Laura alone.
They don't have cyberbullying laws in schools in the UK. I guess we'll find out because you engage in it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're going to jail.
Any potential. Like, you did break that Massachusetts State Police scandal story.
I did.
Your shortcoming is that you then fucked her 2 years later, but you still did do it.
Yeah.
You still did do it. There is potential in you, my dude.
Oh,
But
thank
you
you.
have to let go of these issues at some point. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. You're a piece of shit, Aidan. I'm not going to mince words here. You are an adulterous, drug-abusing, vindictive, malicious, narcissistic piece of shit. All of us here tonight, all 631 people, which is more than you've ever gotten. But no big deal. 631 people. We're all
right?
I'm a huge piece of shit. I can't even compliment you without getting a passive aggressive.
Okay. What's this one say?
You should go try to intercept your parents' mail like you do your wives.
What?
Every single day for the next month. Because they're getting something in the mail, son, and you're going to be exposed to your own parents. What?
Why are you telling
Well,
me?
I'm not saying when. I'm giving him fair notice. He can go to his nice Catholic parents and he can explain to them how he's a sex-crazed fucking cult leader. Or I can do it for him. That's fine. But they're getting something in the mail, Aidan. Might be today. Might be tomorrow. I might have already mailed it out. Maybe I won't mail it out for 6 months. you're not going to know. You might want to go run and tell your whole family what a fucking disappointment you are again, because one way or the other, they're going to find out. I'm not going to tell you when, but it's coming.
I mean, imagine this is your life. You care so much about where I stick my dick. And you're just like, I am going to send a letter to your parents to let them know where his dick has been. Jesus Christ. This is an upset. I never dated her. We never date. What? Who cares? Who cares?
Scream yourself out in public again, Aidan. Do it. I dare you.
Oh, yeah.
I dare you.
We have another 𝗃𝗍𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃 catfish situation.
I won't catfish him, but like, you think I won't pull up? I got a spouse that doesn't fucking hate me. Okay, if I'm like, listen, watch the kids for fucking 2 hours, I gotta go do something. He won't even ask any questions. We got that kind of trust here.
Yeah, I leave my kids with the druggie who abuses them to go fight Turtleboy. Okay, that sounds healthy.
We have to, guys. We have to stand up to him at this point. There's not much choice involved. It would be unconscionable to just look the other way and go, meh, not my problem anymore. It is our problem, unfortunately. We are people that engaged in this. We helped him build this. It is our sacred duty to dismantle it at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I honestly feel that I need.
Yeah, we have to stop Turtleboy. She's like obsessed.
Some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. Will any of this lead to criminal charges or civil suits versus Turtlefuck? So right now, someone has applied for a clerk magistrate's hearing. There is another matter that I just got an email back from the state police on Friday that they are actually investigating with him. I'm sure we all know what that matter is, but we don't really need to discuss it because let's see what comes of that. I also know that he has 2 new civil suits. I spoke to 2 new people that are actually filing that should be out by the end of the
Like, this is her whole life, is just calling the cops on me, trying to get me charged with shit. She does this all the time. And it just finally she paid her with Tully. Like
the week. I would ask people to do much of anything at all. We come to the streets. Ask people to do much of anything at all. We come to the streams, we talk. A lot of the time I'll ask people not take action on the people that we talk about. But at this point, like, something needs to be done about Turtleboy. We need to fucking do something.
Something needs to be done about Turtleboy. We need to do something. We have to stop Turtleboy. Then they started this thing called Team Storm, and they promised for like months that the storm is coming. And it's all going to come down, and nothing ever fucking happened. This is all from 2020 to 2024, basically. And again, I ignored her. When the Karen Reed story started, I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't ever have to hear from Krusty again. I've outgrown her. And then she just attached herself to it. She's just like, nope, he doesn't get to get away from me that easily. Nope, I have to stalk him. He's siding with Karen Reed. I'm going to take the opposite position.
You know how many restraining orders filed on me this year? 0.
Wait, what?
Do you know how many restraining orders filed on me this year? 0. Do you know how many restraining orders filed on me this year? 0.
I think it was more than that.
Do you know how many?
I think it was more than that, but okay.
My daughter says that, like, it hits really true. She's like, why is this guy so obsessed with me, like, sexually? You know, like he sexualizes my.
Why is the guy so obsessed with me sexually? I would like to point out that the avatar she is using is a picture of my face coming. And I'm obsessed. That's my climax face that you have there. That's her profile picture.
My 15-year-old daughter, to a point, it's like, how can you be a 40-year-old man and feel like you walk away looking good in that situation? My daughter's old enough; she's aware.
Okay, someone's got a question for you.
Half my kids need Christmas presents. Nah, actually, I bought Christmas presents for all 4 of my kids. But if you want to bring some over, jump into your fucking canoe, Steven.
All 4 of the kids. I think you only have 2, but okay. You had 4.
Because I was, long story short, because I'm assuming that she's watching right now, that's how she knows. The new mistress is not happy and is claiming that she was not aware of any of this until now. So, lady, like, why don't you answer my messages? I just asked you. Like, I can show you what your little boyfriend's been doing, and he's married, and I can show.
So this is her talking to Lauren Murray, telling her why don't you return my messages? Because that's what she does. If you don't join her, she attacks you. She stalks you like she did to Lauren Murray. With the fake victim knew this. She had been well versed. I told her all about how insane this person is. She knew all about it. That's why she created Jane. Jane was the way that she prevented Krusty from attacking Lindsay, because Jane was Lindsay's friend. And even Krusty thought Jane was a real person. It's fucking crazy.
Show you that he has not filed for divorce, and that probably the reason that he's not rushing to file for divorce or move in with you is because you do have a roommate who I agree has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Technically, Lauren, you don't have much to do with this either, but you just happen to be collateral damage right now, much like my children were or Amanda's children were.
She calls Lauren collateral damage. That's smart.
Have to take down your pictures because it's not covered under a harassment order. I don't give a fuck. The only reason those pictures are up is because Aidan is in them.
So this is her at 2 days after an order was granted against her, speaking directly to Lauren Murray, and she gets violated for this. This is what she gets charged for. This is the comment.
I will not have to take down your pictures because it's not covered under a harassment order. I don't give a fuck. The only reason those pictures are up is because Aidan is in them.
So she's like, the only reason that I have pictures of you on my website is because you're in them with Aidan. So I am your collateral damage.
You are an expendable, changeable, your face here situation. It could have been anyone in those pictures, right? The fact is that Aidan is constantly engaged in extramarital affairs, and we're putting it out there because that's what he does to everyone else. If you really don't want other people involved, Aidan, stop saying that my children motherfucking molest each other, for starters. Spread nasty rumors about—
Actually, the one who said that was Brett. Brett, the guy below her, he used to be my co-host. He used to call the son Fiddler on the Roof. Like, that was Brett's thing. That was Brett's thing.
about my kids. That sounds a lot more harassing than anything that's ever been done to you.
She lets Brett around the kids.
Have to take down your pictures because it's not covered under a harassment order. I will not.
Point. Like, what do we do from here out?
Oh, I mean, he's going to lose his shit when he realizes what I've done today. I can't even talk about it in public.
No, I know.
What I did to this man today is bad even by my standards. He's not going to get it. Like, he didn't get over the last thing that happened. This is 10 times fucking worse.
Oh.
And it should be hitting around, I'd say it'll probably hit him around noon.
Okay.
So what's on
last one?
Obviously, he had to get someone else. David's across the pond with Laura, who was nice enough to send in a little pretty affidavit.
Laura is fucked. Something was done with Laura today. Weird fact. So there's like no laws really with like this whole cyberbullying harassment thing in the United States. Like we don't do that. Over in the UK, they are very strict on that. And that group chat is a fucking gold mine of this fucking British bitch and her plot with this man to fucking harass and bully other people. So we happened to figure out where Laura lives, through some kind of shitty means. At one point, she had bought a t-shirt from me, so I had her fucking address, and I didn't really realize it until I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I bet I could go back. So I found out where she lives. So, what Laura's doing, per the laws of the UK, is not particularly fucking legal and probably not good for her job. So, I mean, she can get it too, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't care.
I honestly was surprised by her.
So, so she'll lose her job or go to jail because she makes YouTube graphics for Turtleboy. So she has to go to jail too. I mean, this is insane. This is a psychopath. This is a person who just, bro, I want nothing to do. I swear to God, I want nothing. I don't ever want to talk about this person. But what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? I'm going to jail because of this shit. I went to jail because of her. And we saw that all tonight. So this has been a long show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's 12:30. I gotta go to bed. But yeah, the Irish guy that flew to Boston to bang. Yeah, remember Irish Demon? The guy that flew here just to bang dump truck. Yikes. Whatever happened to him? I don't want to miss any more turtle chats here. Let me read a couple. A-Rod sends 10 and goes, please expose Julie Ginto. She said so many lies about you when you were in jail. She would go get nuts on me when I stuck up for you. I can't stand it. She's a literal crazy person. And Julie Ginto supports child abuse because she is friends with 𝗵𝗵𝗃. And if you support 𝗵𝗵𝗃, then you support child abuse. So maybe we should find out, since they like to do that, maybe we should find out where Julie Ginto works. Anybody want to get that for me? Anybody want to get that for me? We can find out. We can call her work, and I can go down there and I can ask her boss, why do you support, do you know one of your employees supports child abuse? If that's the way they want to do it, that's the way we can do it. I don't set the rules. Okay. They do. I play on the battlefield that they want to do. Okay. So if that's how they want to do it, then that's how we're going to have to do it. All right, Julie, Charlie sends $15 and goes turtle derangement syndrome to the max. Yeah. Hers is the worst. She is the worst TDS of all, but all right, guys. Anyway, it's been a real show. It's been long though. I got to hit the hay. I love you, fine people. And we'll see you Thursday night for the sex cult. And then Saturday night for the live show. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.